Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media. And you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead, hit that like button, because you already know what time it is. And you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media, share it through word of mouth, or even check someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are back to have another, what I definitely believe would be an extremely interesting episode, y'all. Today's subject matter, in a snap, food stamps were gone. Okay. In a snap, the food stamps were gone. Y'all, today we are going to be talking a little bit about the fact that come November, there's a lot of folks out there that may not get certain government benefits, and we're dealing with the reality of what may happen, in the days coming up. It's going to be what it's going to be, though. Okay. It's going to be what it's going to be. All right. And, but before we get into this, y'all, first of all, let me say shout out to all the people who come to the channel on a regular basis and give me views, because I definitely appreciate what y'all do. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone who leaves comments after the stream, because they help a lot. So shout out to everyone who leaves comments after the stream. I appreciate it big time. They definitely help with the algorithm. Shout out to everyone who hits that like button, because that's a big old deal, y'all. It's a big deal to hit that like button. So shout out to everyone who does. And shout out to everybody who hypes me up, y'all. You know, when the little hype button come up, I don't know how good it does, but hey, it's there. Let's make sure we use it. You know, hype me up every chance you get. Hype me up every chance you get, okay? Shout out to everybody involved in that. And I got to say, shout out to the people who go above and beyond, who drop a little something off at the bank over here and give financial contributions to the Roger Report Live, because I definitely appreciate it, y'all. I definitely appreciate it. And, you know, I can't say enough about people who bless me the way that they do. So shout out to everyone who does that. And a special shout out today to my main man, Truth Teller. Truth Teller is the sponsor of today's stream. So shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. He makes he appreciates the show very much. He appreciates the show very much. He joins panels a lot. So shout out to Truth Teller, who makes a lot of great things happen. And I appreciate it big time, my brother. Appreciate it big time. Thank you for your support in everywhere that you support. Because the Truth Teller, he'll hit a like button for you. He'll send a financial contribution in. He will even join the panel. Giving show suggestions. I mean, the man rocks very solidly with me, and I appreciate you big time. Can't say enough great things about Truth Teller. And y'all know what else Truth Teller do? He'll tell the truth. And I definitely appreciate a person who will do all that. So shout out to Truth Teller. And before I get started, let me give a couple shout outs to some of the first people in the chat. But y'all know how it goes. As they say, there can only be one. Now, keep in mind, if you come too quick, it ain't going to register you right. If you come too slow, you're not going to get that spot, because that spot is only available for one. So shout out to my main man, Kevin3904, who happens to be what we like to call around these parts the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. There can only be one, and Kevin is the one today. And y'all keep in mind, if you ain't got you a Highlander, what is you waiting on? What is you waiting on? You got to get at least a few. You got to catch them all, as they say. And shout out to my main man, Trev Billy. Follow him up. Representing the way he always does. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Neros in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's baby. And my personal favorite, hashtag Hell Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Shout out to the righteous teacher. Great to have you in the building. Great to have you in the building. We got Tunnel Runner in the house. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Floyd Thompson is in the building. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. We got Rael in the building as well. Great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. We got our main man, the order keeper himself, the pit master, Chef Mike's Roundtable is in the building. Good to see you. Good to see you. We got Brother John coming in right behind him. Shout out to you, brother. Detroit 313 is in the or 313, I should say. Okay, but Detroit 313 is in the house. Shout out to Patrick Saint. What's good, my brother? What's good? We got I don't know who this was. Okay. I'm wondering, was this? I see y'all. I'm trying to remember some of y'all by pictures. I can't remember everybody by pictures, but shout out to Base Teeth, who's coming from the UK. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. We got Inspired Truth Broadcast in the building as well. Is that Yogami? I wonder, is that Yogami? I'm not sure. Okay. I'll say IJ Bay. I'm not sure. Is that Yogami? Okay. I believe it possibly be. Shout out to Patrick Saint if I didn't get Patrick Saint in. But y'all, it's been good. It's been good. We about to get into this. And shout out to Capri 10 is in the building. And there go Afro Merchant checking in. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? We got a great cool table today, y'all. We got a great cool table today as Wide Skin and Man Cave comes into the building. Y'all, I'm hungry to get at this subject matter, y'all. And I got to apologize. It was a couple clips that I forgot to get them in. I forgot to stick a couple of clips in. So I'll tell you about it. But I'm pretty sure somebody done seen something about some of these clips as it is. Now we got somebody coming in backstage. Your signal's not strong enough. I'm gonna tell you right now, your signal is not strong enough. I cannot bring you up. Even though I'm gonna go a few minutes before bringing you up, but your signal is not strong enough right now. Y'all, turn your phones off and on before y'all come to the panel, y'all. It clears up a lot of problems, okay? So as a habit, you should do that before joining the panel. Turn your phones on and off. I mean, you could try without it, but if I tell you that the signal ain't strong enough, you probably want to do that so I can actually pull you on to the panel if you want to speak your piece. Now, guys, we at the cool table this morning, and we gonna have to deal with the fact that there's some tables. Okay, now you good to go now. You good to go. So just hold there until I bring you up. Just hold there until I bring you up. Y'all, we now that we are dealing with the cool table, y'all. And today we're gonna have to talk about the spread. Not just on the cool table, but on any table. Because there's some stuff going on, y'all. There's some stuff going on. I've been looking into some things, and there are some problems out there that are going to have to be dealt with. All right, there's some problems out there they're going to have to be dealt with, and it's interesting how stuff goes down and how people get blamed and how people want to take things. But there is something called a SNAP program. Okay, this SNAP program gives out the basically food stamps. Okay. Now, food stamps come in different ways across the country now. They call different stuff. In the Chicago area, okay, I know they call it EBT. Okay. I know it's called different things around the country. But as you all may be aware of, the government has shut down. Government been shut down for a little while now. And what they're saying is money that has been allocated for different food stamp programs across the country. Some money has been allocated toward that, but all the money ain't been allocated toward that. That's going to handle the month of November. So there is a chance that you could get. Well, I'm thinking it's going to play out that some people may get their food stamps. Some people may get a portion of their food stamps, or no one may get food stamps at all. And so this is going to leave different states out here, because it ain't going to just affect Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Chicago is just part of the state of Illinois. Then there's other states. I've put a couple reports in the background, so y'all can see people are reporting in different areas. So this is something that hit across the country. Now, I'm going to say this, y'all. I was thinking about putting some clips up also with some of the responses people are making to say that they may act a certain way if they don't get their food stamps. Okay. Now, I was going to do it. I was thinking about doing it. At least I said that I was at least thinking about doing it. I was trying to find a decent clip to put up. And then I got so busy, I literally forgot to put the clip in. But I hadn't decided on what clip to use. I'm going to tell you that. I hadn't decided on what clip to use. And, there are people who do stuff for certain agendas. I mean, we all got agendas at the end of the day. There have been some Black women, I ain't going to say caught on camera, because obviously they purposely made some stuff to go on social media. And they've had some pretty negative reactions about the idea that food stamps may not be available for them in November. Now, there are some people putting some compilations of this together. And my thing is, I got to think about it. Is this something to laugh at? Are they making fun of their own people? Is it non-FBA people making fun of FBA people? Like how this being done? And is it really going to solve a problem? Because I understand it from a news perspective. It's from a news perspective. We got some women who claim they're going to act a plum fool if they don't get their quote unquote food stamps, whatever they call it in their area. Because I know it's called different things in different areas. Okay. Shout out to Chef Mike's Roundtable. He say at the Roger Report Live, did you see the one with the big back bonnet wearing girl talking and about walking into a wall up into a Walmart? I definitely believe I saw that one. You know, they was a lot of folks was talking a lot of cash. Y'all know what? Okay, I'm gonna say some cash stuff. You know, talking about I'm gonna go up there like I'm paying for it. When my card don't work, I'm gonna start moving my stuff as if my card worked. And if you work in security, you bet not get in the way. You bet not get in the way. You bet not attempt to stop her. You bet not. You bet not. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go get my cousin and I'm gonna get my cousin just to whoop on somebody just for trying to stop me from walking. I mean, I'm gonna say it wasn't necessarily the best look, y'all. I'm gonna say it wasn't necessarily the best look. Okay. Like I was trying to figure out, you know, I had so many of these things to go through, and I was trying to figure out which ones to put in. But I'm gonna say real talk, y'all. I wasn't necessarily comfortable putting in any right away. I would say that because again, y'all, sometimes it's about embarrassing people. Now, November is coming up. Okay, and so anybody who may see this in the future, right now we're still in October. Okay, we're still in October. Today's date is October 21st. So, you know, we still, what was that, about 10 days left in October? I think, yeah, October got 31 days in it. So November hasn't gotten here yet. So right now, I'm gonna say a lot of people talking crazy. Some of them just talk crazy because they talking crazy. Okay, it just is what it is. Some of them talk crazy because they talking crazy. A lot of black folks will talk crazy about stuff they really not gonna do. They're gonna say it, but they don't really mean it. For some people who don't really know how black people move, it may be hard for you to know the difference. Okay, it may be hard for you to know the difference when somebody's just talking versus somebody who actually gonna do it. Okay. uh Now, y'all, this could create some tension at stores, though. Let's be realistic. This can create some level of tension at the stores. All right. Shout out to Floyd Thompson. He said, Roger, I'm going to the farmers market in a few. I wonder if I can get a black woman to get me some food. Well, there are people, I'm sure as most of y'all who are listening right now know, who sell these food stamp benefits. Okay. People will sell food stamp benefits to other people. That they collect more food stamps than they quote unquote need, and then they sell the extras off. They'll let you buy some food. You know, you don't have to pay any taxes on your food, and they'll cut you a deal. You know, it's like they'll let you get, say for example, $100 worth of quote unquote food stamps, and then you give them $50 though. They'll cut you a deal and they'll give it away. They'll give the benefits away. And there are a lot of people who suspect, and y'all, I've literally heard this multiple times. There are people who say you want to make sure you spend everything on your when it comes to the food stamp program. Whatever they allot you, they say spend it all. Some people say, and I don't know if anyone ever checked on it. I doubt anyone actually did. But the rumor amongst people who get those benefits, I'll say one of the rumors amongst people is that you must spend everything or it brings too many questions about how you use your food stamp program. So let's just say, for example, you use $500 a month to buy your groceries. Okay. Their goal as a recipient is to make sure they use the whole 500. Now, maybe they use 300 for their family. Okay. But if they use 300 for their family, then they sell off the other 200 to people to make a quick buck, make a little money, whatever the case is. They do their thing. Now, I think there's some greater concerns that are possibly going on. because now social media, I like to check on stuff before I just say, but it makes sense. There's some people who says that Medicaid benefits will also be attached to this. I didn't have a chance to verify that, but they say Medicaid benefits will also be attached to this for a lot of people. Medicaid is the stuff they use when they go to the hospital. They get the kids, seen by doctors and all that type of stuff, or maybe someone's hurt, don't have enough medical coverage, and they somehow can benefit off Medicaid. Medicaid does stuff for some older elderly people too. Okay, to my understanding. Okay, before you're old enough to get Medicare, if you're a person in need of medical assistance, there's ways to get something called Medicaid. Okay, and there's people who saying some of the Medicaid won't necessarily be available either. I don't know how true that is, but it makes sense, because if it's all wrapped up in the same program, if the government ain't paying this, then automatically not paying that. That makes some level of sense. And the government shut down, so who gonna send the money? Okay, who gonna send it? All right. Now there's some food pantries out here preparing for the fact that some folks may be running out of food. And y'all know what month this is. What is the celebration that Americans do collectively in November? You got it, at the end of the month. Thanksgiving. Okay, Thanksgiving. A bittersweet holiday for certain folks. Okay, some people celebrating America and supposedly the meal they shared with the natives when they got to this country. For other folks, it's a reminder of when Americans slaughtered folks in this country, or set them up, gave them diseases and all kinds of stuff. All right, but a lot of money gets spent at Thanksgiving, and a lot of food gets eaten on Thanksgiving. A lot of food gets eaten the day after Thanksgiving and the days after that. But it's a quote unquote food holiday. All right. Well, we expect big meals. We expect big meals on Thanksgiving. I'm going to say most of us expect big meals on Thanksgiving. And of course, if this stretches, it goes into the next month, which will be December. We expect big meals in December too, because there's Christmas out there. There's, Kwanzaa out there. There's Hanukkah out there. A lot of different holidays come up around that Christmas time. And there's gonna be some people who literally gonna be thinking, well, what's we gonna do? What's we gonna do? We won't eat, but what's we gonna do? We's out of food. We's out of food. And the thing is, y'all, everybody gotta eat. It's just that simple at the end of the day. Everybody has to eat. So there may be some negative responses going up. Now, y'all, there's still time. Like I said, we got about 10 days left. Maybe the government will come on. Okay. Maybe the government will come back on before, any form of disaster hits. Some people believe this is political. There are people blaming Trump. Trump gonna let the government shut down, and Trump gonna let these people go without their stuff. Trump gonna do this, Trump gonna do that. But people vote on these things. It ain't one person making a decision. Okay, I've said before, the Republicans are not for you. The Democrats aren't for you. Okay? Both sides of the aisle is sitting where they want to be. I'm going to say that again for you. Both sides of the aisle are sitting where they want to be. We blaming one guy who happens to be president. That ain't necessarily how things done. Okay, that ain't necessarily how things are done. That one guy don't have that type of power. It's people on both sides that have to make a decision to, get the government flowing the way it's supposed to go. That's people on both sides. Now, I didn't check into it. Somebody told me the Republicans are pushing for the government to open back up, but the Democrats are, they saying, nah, we don't really want this to happen. I don't know if that's even true or not because I didn't have a chance to check. I had a very unusual day yesterday. I didn't have a chance to check. But at the end of the day, I just look at both groups and say, this is what they want us to have. And I think that's a healthier way for Americans to really start looking at the Democrats and Republicans. Because again, both those sides been in charge for so long. We should understand when we have problems because those two groups agree to prefer a problem than prefer a fix. Okay. They prefer a problem much more than they prefer a fix. Now, will quote unquote all hell break loose come November? Possibly. I'm a person that right now don't go shopping, around like the 1st through the 3rd. I don't even go shopping no more. Okay. I don't go to the grocery stores anymore. Why? Because I done been in there with folks who done got their food stamp benefits and I see how it can be. Okay. It can get rough in them places sometimes. So at the beginning of the month, I just say, y'all got it. Okay. Y'all got it. I'll come back, you know. I'll come back on the 6th or the 7th. Y'all got it. I don't even try to be in the way no more when the folks come to the grocery store the way that they do. And they use, a lot of them like to use everything right at the beginning of the month. I don't know why people don't space it out more, but they seem to want to use everything right at the beginning of the month. Okay. I mean, hey, maybe it's convenience, maybe. Well, I take it some folks ain't got cars, so it's not necessarily easy to, get back out there. You made it to the grocery store on this one occasion, and that was enough of a task, and you don't want to have to deal with this again. So I get it. There's certain reason why people can do things like this. All right. Now I do want to say this. Though. Now the phone that I use to receive my cash apps, y'all, I didn't have it on me yesterday. And a couple cash apps actually came in yesterday. Okay, real talk. Now, let me say this too. Shout out to Afro Merchant, my main man. Toward the end of the show, Afro Merchant on Friday, he did send a cash app in that I didn't see before I closed the show out. He sent me $10.57. So shout out to him for the Trail Bentley tax. He said marathon OT tax. So he was looking for a marathon. I ain't doing a marathon yet, but we gonna do a marathon, y'all. I'm taking the idea seriously, and pretty soon we'll probably do a marathon. We'll see how it goes. I'm taking that idea seriously about doing a marathon. I'm gonna make sure we good and prepared to do the marathon too. Okay, but I am taking that as a serious idea to do a marathon. So shout out to you, Afro Merchant. Shout out to you. Now, yesterday I did get a couple. Like I said, I did not have my phone with me to see who sent what. But I'm gonna say shout out to my main man, Elder Blood, y'all. It's El the Blood, okay? No, excuse me. It says my. Oh no, it was him. It was him. Shout out to formerly known as Elder Blood, I should say. He said for my Elder Blood channel got canceled. Hey man, I done been there too. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I am sorry to hear that your other channel got canceled. I thank you for the $20 because as you can see, they got me again too. They got me again too. First broadcast on this channel was June 3rd, and we just making it happen the way we can make it happen. So sorry to hear they got you, my brother. Sorry to hear that they got you. Hate to hear that because I definitely know the frustration of starting the channel over again. I know that frustration all too well at the end of the day. I know that frustration all too well. But I appreciate it big time. I appreciate the support. Okay. Glad to see you back in the building, though. Glad to see you back in the building. And that's real talk. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, my brother. Okay. Also, shout out to J Bones. Shout out to J Bones. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, my brother. He came through with the $5 on the Cash App, and he said, "Great stream," and I appreciate the support, my brother. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Real talk. All right. Now I'm gonna have to hold on to that little bit of cash, y'all, because ain't no food stamps coming in November. That's that's the way it's looking. So I appreciate I appreciate that, y'all. Ain't no food stamps coming in November. All right. So with November being 10 days away, I'm gonna hold on to the to that 25. Let it add up, y'all. so I can find a way to eat, okay, in November. I'm saving up for the Thanksgiving meal, y'all. I'm saving up for the Thanksgiving meal. Not really, but I appreciate it, though. I appreciate it. And this is the thing, y'all. See, things like this happen, and I understand things like this are going to happen. And all right, to the person who was trying to get up, if you want to come up, I'll put you on the show. Yo, I be looking for you. You be done dipped out. Okay, you come here, then you dip out when it's time to get you on the air. But if you're ready to come up, if you want to come back, I'll get you on the air. This is the thing, y'all. There's some stuff to laugh at, but then there's some stuff to cry about. I'm gonna say this. I feel bad for elderly folks who are truly dependent on something like a food stamp program. Okay. And this country, we're supposed to be this super advanced country. All right. Now, I don't personally like specified welfare. There was room in the Constitution to have general welfare. Okay. Specified welfare, I'm not so cool with. You know, we don't necessarily do we don't necessarily do general welfare in this country like that. We do a lot of it'd be specified stuff. So it's not coming the way it should come. But there can be some elderly people, and this is the thing. People will throw this out there as a kind of get you or gotcha or whatever. All right. Yes, there's people who can get caught up in this. There are people who can get caught up in this where, for whatever reason, there could be an elderly person who needs certain benefits. They need certain benefits. I understand that's an idea, but I do also understand people just throw that out there to try to make you feel guilty or whatever the case is, or make you think about stuff in a different way. Okay. There is nothing wrong with a little empathy for somebody who's not doing as well as you at the time. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to say, for the general people who receive these food stamp benefits, unfortunately, we've as a society, we've trained people to look for these benefits. Now, I said years ago, y'all, there's a way to handle this a little bit better. I'm just going to say this and then I'm going to give the mic over. I think the best way to handle these food stamp programs is to leave people's food stamp programs alone and just stop accepting new people on these programs. The United States government should just say, give people a year's notice. That way, the women who get pregnant and all that type of stuff, because that's always a controversy. People be like, well, the women get pregnant so they can get on these welfare programs, blah, blah, blah. Well, make an announcement a year ahead of time. Okay. And just say, hey, we're not going to cut anybody off, but we are no longer extending the program to new people. Let people die off the program. Now, people will say, well, that'll take a long time for people to die off. Well, at the end of the day, it's going to increase. It's going to free up money every single year because every single year people die. So people will die, and then they won't receive these benefits anymore. And if you're not giving it to new people, the problem just goes away. But you're not taking it from anybody because you done got people accustomed to receiving these benefits. And yes, there are some people who are going to abuse it, but we shouldn't have got them accustomed to them in the first place. But let me get a mic to my main man, Captain. Y'all with these names sometimes. This is his name, y'all. This ain't me. This is his name. Captain Snatch Your Food Stamp is in the building. You have the mic, my brother. Go ahead.
Hey, happy Tuesday, Roger. Happy Tuesday to the chat and the panel. Right?
Happy Tuesday, brother. Let me go grab something to eat while you while you do your thing.
Well, first of all I gotta say is sprinkle, sprinkle. How'd that sprinkle, sprinkle sound for these ladies, huh? Feels good, don't it? Well, every time we fall on hard time, they tell us to pull ourselves up by the bootstrap. Do these ladies have any bootstraps already? Bootstraps, right? I, I, I heard that the government got shut down, but hey, uh, that's what I heard. I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean? I got my stuff ready. I got my food ready, and like every single productive black man, like every single Plutonian that we are, we never depended on that. When they tell us that they got their food stamp snatched, we're looking at them with a side eye, like, what's that? Food stamp? What is food stamp? We never had that. You know, some of them are losing their minds right now. You know, they are looking at Thanksgiving sideways. Like, am I going to be able to afford the extras for Thanksgiving, or am I going to settle for the beef turkey? You know, the sweet turkey that they just give away. You know, they thinking, maybe I need to settle for that. You know what I mean? No cheese for you, huh? Big Daddy said no more. Mr. Donald J. Trump pulled everything. And now they're crying. Like, what are you crying for? I thought you were strong and independent. Huh? You don't need no man. What do you need food stamp for? Huh? What do you need all these help for? Ain't that a ditch? Huh? Strong, independent, and leaving off our food stamp? Now that they done called your bluff, you're crying. I seen them online talk about, oh, they gonna steal food. Okay, go ahead. Add one more line to rap sheet. Keisha. Keisha done already got a long rap sheet. And I can talk about she gonna steal some food. Of course. Hopefully they don't steal. Because somebody they might start stealing some family. Because they ain't got none. Oh, am I still alive? I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. You know, they gonna but I cannot be too happy about it. You know what I mean? Because I don't like seeing my queen suffer. You know what I mean? I can't be happy because I still have not gotten my food job for $1. I haven't got I have not seen the $5 box shot on the menu. I see none of that. I think the ladies are good. I think we are worried for nothing. You know what I mean? We think they are down in bad, but they ain't down bad. Not from what I'm seeing. Yeah, they don't offer me anything. I don't see them running to the table to come and to settle down. I don't see them trying to negotiate with us in good faith. No, all I see them doing right now is they still on the 6-figure train. You know, you gotta make 6 figures to talk to them. You gotta make 8 figures to marry them. I don't see them struggling. I still see them being fat. A whole bunch of fatties walking around. Uh, it ain't bad, Roger.
Okay.
Yeah, I've not lost weight.
All right. All right. Well, we have another guest who's just come up. We have the Honorable A Charitable Heart is in the building, y'all. A charitable heart. Let's see where a charitable heart goes with this. You got the mic, my brother.
Hello, Roger. Good morning. God bless you. God bless the panel, and hope everybody in the chat is doing well. I'm just going to read something really quickly. Matthew 25:35-46. For I was hunger, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visit me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. Now I'm going to drop down a little bit. And the king answered and said to them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done to the least of these, my brethren, you have done unto God. Then I say to you, so that's pretty much it. Proverbs 19:6-18. Those who give to the poor is on what? Who has pity upon the poor has lent unto God, and that which he has given, God will repay him back. So when we're talking about these things, right? When we're talking about the poor and food is a human right. So while this terrible man is in office, we have to do our part. It is ungodly to let women and children go starving. Now, whatever reasons we have against these women that we want to charge them, the good book clearly says that to the least of us we must do, because that is doing unto God. And so I would encourage you, brothers, to go to your local food pantry this weekend and next weekend to make sure folks has things to eat as it gets colder, to make sure these youngins have things to eat. Now, regardless of how these youngins came here, they didn't ask to be here. So at the end of the day, you can say I'm a captain, whatever. But when you meet your maker, and when it's written in the good book, what are you going to look at God eye to eye and say? And I pass the mic on that.
Okay, okay. Strong statements, strong statements. All right. Um, Now we have Kevin 3905, aka These Other Community, in the building. Let's see where he goes with it. You got the flow, my brother. You have the flow.
Yeah, Pastor Mike, right on over here. Was where the real good book at. You know, now the good book I've been reading says, take the money that you have exchanged for your tithes and your offerings to the city in which I have placed my name. Don't forget the Levites because they have no inheritance. Make sure you take care of the widows and the orphans. It ain't say nothing about these hoes. Say take care of the women that were married and their husbands died. Take care of the children of the children of the husband and wives that have passed away. Ain't say nothing about take care of these hoes. Am I better than God? I say no. These are thieves of the community, taking advantage of the good charity of the community. And they have laid down and decided to be lazy and take advantage of your charity. Now, I'm gonna do what the good book say. I'm gonna take care of the orphans and the widows. And I pass the mic from there.
So let me say something to the good brother. In Matthew chapter 25, verse 36, in prison. Who's in prison? The Pookies. You visit me. Right. Even the Pookies, we gotta look out for. So I don't, you want to call them the 304s and things like that. I don't care. I don't care if she was married to you and you divorced her. She slept with another dude. She even tasted her asshole off his cock and kissed you without washing her mouth, and you taste the nigga's ass grease. I don't care. You still need to make sure that we give to the least and the poor of these. Ass grease and all.
Interesting
Yep.
comeback. Interesting comeback.
The
Okay, we got
poor will have with us always. I say, my brother, always. They always gonna be poor with me. Always. Yes, sir, boy. Yes, sir.
okay, we have Floyd Thompson in the building. So let's let Floyd get a piece of this. You got the mic, my brother. You got the mic, and we'll get Gold P after you. He's coming up now.
Brother, I changed my mind. I'm not gonna go to the food market. I don't want to start no fight because
I think it's gonna
I'm
be a
gonna
fight
ask
no
the
matter what,
question.
brother.
I mean, I'm not going to, what they say, cause a public disturbance because I'm gonna ask these women, "Where's your husband? Why did you get these food stamps? You failed. November is going to be a time where you're going to come back around. It's going to be like Valentine's Day. Women are going to probably be pleading with men to take them on. And they're probably on their knees. You can leave me. I got you right now. I got your back. Help me out. All my 300,000 other sisters, they got laid off from their job. We need a man to lead us. Y'all definitely need to fix this. Y'all need to fix this right now. Right here, right now. My kids, your kids we gonna have need help. And they're gonna be pleading. And all I'll be able to do is just tip my hat and say, "Good day, winch," and then walk on out. But I might go to Kroger and go get me some stuff to make some chili because it's gonna be a cold winter. And a lot of doors gonna be slammed on a lot of these chicks' faces. And the domestic violence rate will go up, and the 14th Amendment will be reenacted. So instead of the higher incarceration rate for the brothers, it's going to flip. It's going to be a high incarceration rate for these sisters. And the 67% of the white people that are on food stamps, we all think is majority of the black folks that's on food stamps. Nope, it's not us. Majority of the white folks is going to have to squad up with their relatives that they hate. That grandma they didn't want to take care of, that mama they didn't want to see about in the nursing home, and trying to do something to make it right. But for us who probably men who only get $125 in food stamps, this ain't gonna make it break us. But the real problem is gonna be for the women. And I'll land a plane there. Oh, but I'm gonna answer a man's hot sauce question. When I stand in front of the Lord and he asked me what did I do to help these women out, I did what you asked me to do. Lead them. Did they listen? Nope. And that's not my problem. And you got to ask them about that one. Why they didn't follow. I'll land my plane there. Thanks for having me up, Rob.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I've seen plenty of them with the brand new iPhone. Not the boring color one. No, the brand new orange one. Yeah, yeah. They're buying
Getting interesting.
electronics. They're buying electronics. The price of iPhone has not come down. Not one bit. I see them walking around with their fat asses. I see them wobbling around, can barely walk with their brand new iPhones. Gentlemen, I'm here to tell you right now, they are not struggling. Okay? Despite what you might think, they are not struggling. The good old ladies of the community, yeah, Okay? They're eating good right now. Okay? Don't worry about it. They be all right. They tough, right? Hey, yo, B, you get shot every day. You'll be all right. You're tough, right?
All right, y'all. It's getting interesting. It's getting interesting with these perspectives. Go P, I'll get to you in a moment. Black Uru has come up, so elder privilege. I gotta give him the mic. Black Uru, you got it, my brother. We'll get Gold P in right after you.
Hey, Roger. How you doing? I hope I'm coming in clear. And if I am, I hope you and the gentlemen on the panel are doing well. Well, I mean,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
we're
Thank you,
halfway,
Dr.
or
Ru.
more than halfway into November. I guess the winter is starting, and it's starting a little early. You know, the environment have predicted the long night, and I think we're beginning to see and experience some of what that might entail. Great thing about not being a religious person is that I don't have to debate these notions with respect to charity, empathy, sympathy, tending the poor and the abandoned and the orphan. I can merely choose to do those things by my own volition or choose to not do such. So I feel those particular strictures. And
Sorry to
I'm not
interrupt. To
suggesting
interrupt you,
that,
Black Uru. You're cutting off. You're cutting off a lot. I'd
No,
like to
no,
hear
no,
what you're saying. You're cutting off a lot.
no. Look. Black Rule, you're a little choppy. Just as long as you speak up, they'll be able to make out what you're saying. You may want to do something after your opening statement, but let him make his opening statement first, y'all. But just don't say nothing to everybody, because we can make out what he's saying, momentarily. So go ahead, finish what you're saying, brother, because we definitely can make you out, but you do sound a little choppy.
I think this will be a very interesting time. Various faith practices and even denominations within those faith practices. I look forward to observing all of the gymnastics many of us engage in as we make decisions about whether we ourselves will survive. Because make no mistake, brothers, if this goes down in a negative way, it will the effects of this, the reverberations, it will happen sooner rather than later. So gird thyself.
Okay. Gold P, you didn't get your opening statement. And I would say Black Rule, maybe you want to try something now. But I appreciate your opening statement, brother. Appreciate it, because you are a little choppy. And if you're talking and other people talking, it's gonna be hard to hear you. That's for sure.
Can I respond after Go P, please?
Sure.
Good early, man. What's happening? What's happening to the panel? What's happening, everybody? Good early to you, man.
Early, man.
Good early to you,
Go,
brother.
P. What's happening?
Off top, man. Hey, man. I appreciate you guys welcoming my brother to the panel, man. And shout out to the people in the chat, man. Hey, keep winning, brothers. Off top. Now, let me say this. Hot sauce, you have a colorful way of saying things, brother. When I listen to you, brother, I be like, yeah, okay. He said that. So I have an admiration for you, brother, the way you say certain things off top, man. But
I'm a poet.
Yeah, you have a poetic way of saying things, brother. Off top. But hey, I just want to read this thing real quick. It's only a small part. I ain't gonna read the whole thing, but it says government shutdown ends SNAP benefits funding. And I'll just read the first. It says funding for supplemental nutrition assistance program SNAP ended effective October 16th and will not resume until government shutdown ends. This is according to the letter from Ronald Ward, acting associate administrator, supplemental nutrition assistance program, food and nutrition service at U.S. Department of Agriculture. As stated in the lapse of appropriation correspondence dated October 1st, 2025, SNAP has funding available for benefits and operations through the month of October, Ward said in a letter. However, if the current lapse in appropriations continues, there will be insufficient funds to pay full November SNAP benefits for approximately 42 million individuals across the nation. Just wanted to read that part, right? Which I think when we run into the wall expecting a different result, there has to be some line of change, in which I tend to lean with Roger's position. Not that I like Roger. I mean, hey, a lot of us don't like Roger. But aside from that, man.
Haters.
Y'all know I gotta rock with Roger. I gotta mess with Roger.
Keep your enemies close, as they say. Keep your enemies close.
Keep your enemies. I just think, hey, look, man, Roger has a point when he says, hey, the people who are receiving funding, receiving these funds now, should continue, which in my humble opinion, I think it is the elderly and children who receive these funds. I think it should be closed. I don't think it should be permanent, but I think it should be closed for a significant time and then perhaps set up to where they put people on a list or something. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking outside the box. But I think Roger has a point on that. Close it for some time and then perhaps revisit the conversation or open it back up at a later date. And we go from there. I have to address this, Roger. Serious Ross says, don't be a Roger hater. I don't hate Roger. I just hate his behavior sometimes, man.
No, nobody like this nigga.
That's my minutes, man. Shout out to Roger and the Roger Report. Y'all hit that like button, man, off top. All right?
Yeah, that was Chef telling me to shut up during your opening statement. That's what that really was.
I see.
That was him. He was telling me to shut up.
You tell you to shut up.
Yeah, that's what that was. But I'm gonna say this. Now, I think those programs, they should just kind of get rid of them altogether. Maybe we work a different kind of program or something. But I wouldn't take it from people. Our society has already trained it will be there, because there's cruel and unusual punishment. Taking it from people who've been trained that it's going to be there is making them people make an adjustment. I just think they should, continue the program and just stop letting new people on it. You announced that nobody new will be able to get on it. You announced it a year ahead of time. Why? Because it takes about 9 months to have a baby. So if we told you a year ahead of time, you already knew it wasn't going to be there when you decided to get pregnant. And now that's on you at the end of the day. And then
Roger, I got to push back.
Die off those programs. Because you can't.
I got to push back.
Well, hold on, no. I was supposed to go next.
Yeah. I talked.
Oh yeah, you did say something. Well, you go ahead, then we'll get Floyd in after you, because I definitely want to hear what the pushback is. Go ahead.
So the thing about it is this. I think there's a couple things that we're missing here, and like our humanity. We're sounding too cold. So I do agree that people that are on there, keep them there. Except, if you're young, able body, being transitioned and weaned off of it, that's fair as well. But for the seniors and the children, I mean, okay. I'm speaking to the people who are least Christian. It's the Christian thing to do to make sure that we feed people that need to be fed, to feed the hungry, right? Whether it's through government assistance, and since the government is closed, I give to the pantry, right? I put food in the pantry religiously, because at the end of the day, what the woman said, food is a human right. So regardless of how rebellious a person is, I don't wish hunger on any person. Right? I don't wish hunger on any person, regardless of how married or unmarried she is. Right? Because she can be a married person, like I said before. She can be a married person doing all the things she can do, be cheating on her husband and kissing her husband in the mouth with ass grease on her tongue. Right? But married. And then we keep talking about these cold winters. Well, guess what? If you're going to let a person go hungry like that, right? God said, "Hey, when you give to the least of them, you're giving to me." So when so to all the people saying, "Oh, it's gonna be a cold winter's coming," well, guess what? You're gonna have a hot ass death, right? Your death is gonna be hot as hell, literally.
Nigga, you sound like a communist.
With nothing but a bucket of ass grease that the devil threw all over you and light your ass up. I pass the mic.
You sound like a communist. Nigga, put yourself up by your bootstraps, all right? Okay. Hey yo, niggas get shot every day. You'll be all right. You tough, right?
That's why I got the pushback. That's the main reason why I got pushback.
Oh yeah, I want to get your pushback in, but first, y'all hit that like button, okay? My shows are too great for y'all to be tripping on these like buttons. So okay, shout out to Trust. She says she's the 55th like. It's 109 people watching, 113 actually. Y'all get them likes up, okay? I know everybody over here ain't no hater, so y'all hit that like button. Floyd, what's that pushback, brother? Because I'm interested. What's the pushback?
All right. Well, first of all, the pushback is we've had since the inception of the country these backdoor folks. How is it that the folks that been backdooring everybody since the country inception, who tell people pull yourself up by your bootstraps? We already had our bootstraps. You took our bootstraps, but now you encourage the women who are on these programs, whose bootstraps and heel straps and strap-ons you took away, or the strap-ons you're giving them, to be down with these programs. And you want to make this an issue for us. And we're the straps that you took out the home, which is, they symbolize that as the boot. You made the women take the straps off the boot. So why is this our problem?
I don't understand.
Basically, you kick the men out of the household. You put programs to emasculate us. You put programs together to separate the women and make them make decisions, saying that your program is better than the natural, godly program of the vertical alignment, God, man, woman. You want to get between the man and the woman, but use your God and tell the woman the God that the man is following is not the right God. Our God is the better God. So get involved in these food stamps. Get on this Medicaid, Medicare. Put your elderly into nursing homes instead of keeping the family unit together. Don't listen to what the man tell you.
I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying, regardless of how rebellious she is, that's what I said. No one deserves to go to starvation and hunger. That's all I'm saying.
My point was, you created chaos to make us feel
I
like
didn't create
we
shit.
don't want
I
to deal
didn't.
with this woman. No,
I
I'm
didn't
talking about
create shit.
The government.
the backdoor people. And they create that so we wouldn't feel some type of way. You made us numb to the situation. A lot of us numb to the situation. But yes, we are supposed to still take care of the kids that can't defend themselves. Because at the end of the day, we don't abuse. We're all children of God, and you don't abuse children of God.
Well, I
I
would
don't want
say
that
this.
punishment.
I would say this. Look, if you can go and do this yourself. You can go online, look at countries and look at the women over there. Over in Africa, them fat butt broads over there are eating swell. So I don't think the broads here are gonna lose anything. They're gonna still be looking like each other from here to across the sea. They're gonna keep eating, man, regardless
Yeah.
what happens. So
Yeah.
it brings us back to Roger's point, man. Hey, uh, I think they ain't gonna stop eating. They ain't gonna stop. They ain't gonna stop eating, man.
Well,
Well, see,
let me say something very nice. They can get a second job to feed themselves. They can even get a third job to feed themselves. Matter of fact, they can go out there, bust it wide open in front of the camera to make their money. They can, they can sell it, whether virtually or physically. And they be all right. Okay? They'll be all right. Stop worrying about them. And talk about what they deserve or not. Let me tell you what these broads deserve. They deserve to be overstretched. They deserve to be overworked. They deserve to be underpaid. They deserve all kind of medical diseases that come upon them. They deserve all the bad things that life has to offer. Why? Because they chose their side and they didn't choose us men. They chose the government. So fuck all of them. Go starve, bitch.
Man, that's some.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
getting a little
Like,
cold in
I
here.
saw
It's
you
getting a
Oh,
little
coming.
cold in here.
Damn.
all
Okay,
right. All
What did
right.
I step into?
Well,
Damn.
ain't going that
Okay.
cold with it.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
true. Right,
Let,
true.
let, let me say this. Let me say this. No, I think the government created a problem when you just start giving out stuff to people who shouldn't really need anything. My answer to this years ago, I've said before this quote unquote became an issue today. I just don't like the ideal of it in general. I don't think it's the best move for us to make. I believe as a government, we should have been stopped these programs like this and not take people off the program, let them die off the programs. And then if we're going to assist them, we create a better way to assist people so you don't have money being wasted and people just own stuff using it improperly. Now if when you deal with millions of people, there's no way to get everybody right. There's no way to get everybody right. But I'm gonna tell y'all this. I come from a family where we believe that it's okay to feed somebody. Okay. If where I come from, if you was visiting, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my grandparents. If you was my granddad didn't tell you sit down and get you a nice plate of food. You don't
Yep.
even he'll tell you don't even have to eat polite. You can eat what you want. Eat till you're full. That's how my granddaddy was. And I believe a lot of us then kind of went along that same line. So I am not promoting that it's just cool to let somebody starve. I'm saying there needs to be some level of balance about how we handle situation, even from a government perspective. Yeah, there's some people who just don't want to work and they're just more comfortable with, those the others in society feeding them. That's a very true thing, but there's things we can do about that stuff. And my thing is look out for people who actually need the help. Again, elderly people who really don't have the money. I would promote looking out for them. If there's orphan children who really don't have no parent to look out for them, sure, I'm gonna say look out for those people. There's a lot of children with mothers. I think they need to have their mama feed them, and that's just real talk because that's just the job you take on when you decide to be a single mother. It's a difference between becoming a single mother because something unfortunately happened to you and you just simply making a decision, a unilateral decision to become a single mother because that's what you want to do. And people should have to deal with certain consequences because of the decisions they make. So I'm not gonna sit here and say it's cool to be cruel to people and laugh at somebody starving because you do got to look at what if it were happening to you. but I want somebody laughing at me because I'm starving. No, but I also don't mind taking the responsibility on to feed myself.
Roger, I have a question for you.
So hold on. I want to say something really quickly because I'm gonna head out. So Roger, I want to say, man, really, God bless you, man. You really were saying some really powerful things until you talked about the single mom because she deserves to be fed too. But hey, nobody's
No,
perfect.
I'm not saying she don't deserve to be fed. I'm saying she has to take on a responsibility to feed herself and her child if she
Yeah,
chooses to be a single mother.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
still an adult.
Yeah, that's reasonable. But I mean, if she, for whatever reason, she can't do that, we as community members, we should make sure that people eat like your grandfather did. Come eat if we can do it.
What
So
I'm saying, being a single mother is not a condition that stops you from being able to provide
no,
for your
no, no,
food for
no, no.
yourself.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying for whatever reason she wasn't able to feed. I think that's where we need to step in because again, I don't wish anyone to starve, regardless of she's being a single mother or the children. I don't wish that on anyone for any reason, right? Guys. Let's be serious, okay? Just because she isn't married doesn't mean she deserves to starve. But
Well,
anyway,
let
I'm
me
gonna.
let me just say this, brother.
Not 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 on my dime.
What I'm saying is, y'all, being a single mother is not an injured party. I don't mind helping out anybody who does not have the ability. And I'm saying we shouldn't say single mother as if it's a condition where people don't have an
I'm,
ability to
I'm
do
not.
themselves.
I'm not saying it's a condition. I'm saying situationally, if she's a single mother, for whatever reason, she's not working for whatever reason, right? And she can't afford food for that night for her and her children for whatever reason, right? Maybe she just lazy and she just didn't feel like it. Let's say that reason. Still, if we have the ability to help, we should help because
I think hospital.
can I finish because I'm
Oh,
going
I'm
to
sorry.
sign off.
I was gonna rock with you, but go ahead. Go ahead.
So we gotta kind of self-regulate and check the level of vitriol that we're going to have that we can literally sit here and say, let this person starve. And I'm gonna go here, but to Captain Snatch, who called me a communist. Well, you know what, brother? I can be a communist because you know what? There's a gasoline bath waiting for you in hell, asshole. And I'm out
Well,
of here.
Yes,
look,
yes, sir.
man.
I'm
Look,
waiting
man.
for it too.
I would say
Hold
this.
on, go Pete. Truth
Hmm.
teller ain't made an opening statement
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry. Go
Let's
ahead.
let him get in.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Truth teller, you got it.
Tell the truth.
First off, I wanna give a shot at a charitable. Nigga, you ain't shit. You had Michelle Obama with that cute photo with the head tilted to the side. I was eating up everything you said because I was looking at that photo. I'm like, she's so nice. And then I realized, oh, it's her. I can't believe nothing this nigga say. So now it looked like the high school yearbook picture when they said, "Hey, we're gonna want you to have fun," and she took it to the side leaning. That's exactly what it looked like. It was adorable, but I remember who she was. So, as far as the people losing out, I get it. Nobody wants people to be hungry, but then the question is, when is it going to stop? So if you say it's situational, it means they're eventually going to have to go hungry. So then you have to use the practical approach. Hey, is it better for you to face this now or do you want to face this later? It's probably better for you to face it now. You might be able to figure something out if you try to face it now versus putting it off till later and not doing any preparation later. I mean, you could feel better about feeding them, but that's your own selfish needs being fulfilled. You're not helping them because they still gonna be hungry tomorrow. You gonna feed them again tomorrow? You gonna say, "Nah, I fed them yesterday." So then, what they supposed to do now? You just actually helped prolong and promote the situation to continue. Now, I don't think anybody should go hungry, but honestly, women There is no way for them or their children to go hungry in this country. Besides the government, they have all kind of options to choose if they need help. Not only that, they can always hit the pole, y'all. I'm just saying, if she got to be a hoe to save her kids, I'll give her some grace. I'm just saying, if she got to do it to save her kids, I give her some grace on that right there.
That's a new kind of poll tax right there. A new kind of poll tax. Now, I'm
I,
gonna say,
I
go ahead
thought
with
they were
that.
strong. I thought they were strong and independent.
Well,
I thought they
I
was the
find
most
all
educated.
this sympathy thing to be interesting because my assumption is that you guys want things to improve, right? You guys want
Exactly.
reform. But
Exactly.
there is no reform without some serious struggles. What people do where there's got to be eh, because these problems that we all often complain about in this environment are decades and generations in the making. And when you have, it's like any other disease that has allowed to exist and spread for so long, then the eradication of that disease is going to be very traumatic. And is going to even in some cases be potentially deadly. You know, where the cure itself, you know, close to killing you is the disease. You know, I mean, with the various treatment programs for cancer being an example of that. You know, radiation, chemotherapy, etc. Those are all dangerous processes. But that's because the seriousness of the disease and the pervasiveness of the disease is such that it requires something radical to happen to interdict that disease. And I think starving women and starving children are necessary for real reform. Logically, I'm not making a moral, like I say, for me, not being religious, I am unburdened by any religious dilemma that you all might possess on this issue. And just from a practicality standpoint and just from a historical standpoint, now when motherfuckers starve, then things change. That's just history.
Well, I would say this, man. I in which I wanted to tell Hot Sauce before he left. I can understand where he's coming from a human standpoint. That's what he's speaking to is, from my humble opinion, is or perspective, is that he is speaking from a human standpoint. But there are consequences when we deal with the human standpoint as well. And when we're talking about the human standpoint and the positives and negatives that come along with being a human, I mean, there are certain things you can't get around. Meaning, um, let's take the example of your blood pressure. People are familiar with blood pressure. This is your body, right? If you are one who is not taking care of yourself, then you are subject to, higher levels of your blood pressure. Then you end up going to the doctor, and then you end up getting on pills, and now you have to take these pills forever and a day because you are struggling with your high blood pressure. Well, to get that right, you're going to have to go through some struggle to get off those pills, to get your health together and all like that. And it's not an easy road. And for you to get your blood pressure right, well, you're going to have to feel the pressure. You're going to have to feel the pressure of what it is to get you up off those things, to get your body right. Now, everybody has a body. We here on the panel in the clouds. Everybody has to deal with their blood pressure. And that's the pressure to keep that maintained. You have to make sure you're together and do the right thing for yourself. Now, if you're going to just let yourself fall by the wayside and not take care of that pressure that you're dealing with, Well, that is not on us. That is not on everybody. The doctor can only tell you what to do and give you some pills to help ratify that issue temporarily, because it's not a temporary thing. I mean, it's not a permanent thing to be on those blood pressure pills. You're going to have to get it together if you desire to live longer. And you're going to have to go through the aches and pains of getting yourself together. That's what it is. And that is outside of the religion thing. I'm with Black Guru on that. This is not a religious thing. This is a human thing. And you're going to have to go through the aches and pains of experiencing what human life is. And it's not always in the positive. You're going to have to feel those negatives to make those positives become relevant. So I'm going to just leave it at that.
Man, let these hoes deal with the cold, deadly hands of reality, all right? Don't worry about it. They'll be all right.
This is a correction. This is a correction by the government. This is a correction due to feminism, and the correction is necessary. And you're gonna have to have some examples to point to say, hey, if you don't want to be like that person over there, you shouldn't do X, Y, and Z. This is necessary, absolutely necessary. And yes, there are going to be some people that are affected negatively that should not be affected negatively in our judgment. But what needs to happen and what the country is doing is returning us back to families, husbands, wives, and children. We was never designed to be single mothers and single fathers out here raising children. Now, if you notice something, there are very little men, and there are no productive men complaining about the changes that are happening. And I don't see no wives complaining about the changes that are happening. Think about that.
You mean all 5 of them?
All right.
You're right.
Six. What you talking
All 5
about?
of them
6
ain't
wives. All
complaining.
6 wives.
All right. I want to say shout out to Perfect Timing Podcast. He says, I recently read a text from a politician. He said people must steal in order to change or make policy. And again, y'all, I'm gonna say this. It was an easy solution that I came up with years ago. You just simply shut down the programs, not all in one motion. You just stop allowing new people to get on the programs. You wean the American people off of the programs because you're not allowing new people to get on. You tell them a year in advance. Why? Because kids take about 9 months to make. So that means everybody who's not on the program would have gotten notice. And, some people may have not heard it in time or whatever, but changes were starting to be made because a lot of people would already know, well, if you have a baby, that stuff ain't there for you no more. Now, how do you make this stuff work in a society without having people revolt against it? You let people have it that's already on it, and you just make it where no new people get on it. I'm okay with giving charity. I know God wants me to give charity. But y'all know what I want? I want to decide who I give my charity to. I don't want the government taking money from me and say I have to give charity to this person, that person. I'd rather be the decision maker but behind my own charity. And I'm going to say, I'm not looking at this as these women need this stuff. I'm looking at this from a human perspective. I am a man. I know if I don't get it myself, I'm not going to have it. It's that simple at the end of the day. Now, push come to shove, I got parents I can go to. I got brothers and sisters I can go to, or whatever the case is. But I'm not in the mindset where I'm going to lean on them unnecessarily. I am a grown man. If I need it, I'll go get it. It's that simple. And we are in a country where it's still legal for you to work for somebody else or work for yourself. It's legal.
Hey,
So
Rob.
I understand people say, well, these people are in this position. They don't have this. They don't have that. If you need it, go get it.
Hey, Roger. I would look out for you if you was hungry, brother. Just know I got some good asparagus, mushrooms. You know, I mean, I'm gonna look out for you, brother.
They're gonna tell
I
you that ain't food.
got tomatoes, onions. I got it. You know,
Nigga, that ain't
OP,
food.
these kids don't eat that. They don't like that. They don't eat this. They don't eat that.
you got it, Roger. You got
Well,
it. I gotta look out for you, brother. You gonna eat right, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Hey Rod,
What?
hey
I'll just
Roger,
listen.
I've been growing tomatoes. I've been growing some cabbage.
That
I've
go
been
right,
growing
Black
some
Guru.
some
That go right. We
bell
gonna look out
peppers,
for it.
some
We gonna
some
look out for Roger,
cucumbers, some
man.
squash. I got them all right
There
here.
go. That go
Right
right.
here
Me and
for
Black
you.
Guru on
I
the
can't
same.
give them
hey,
away. I've been giving it away. I've been giving it to neighbors and the family
Hey,
and the,
and we're gonna have
once you
Chef
plant
Cookie.
here
We're
here
gonna have Chef Cookie.
Black Guru, but notice though,
You're
Black
right, bro.
Guru, we can't have no goats. We
priming
can't
the
have no
No,
chickens. We can't have no
no,
pigs
once
running around,
it
little
gets
Arnolds running
growing
around the
right
yard.
no, sir.
in the
No, sir.
right soil, you can't stop the shit.
Right.
It's just growing and growing and growing. I can't give the shit away.
Hey, Roger's gonna eat swell.
So like I mean, and I'm saying this to say that you ain't got to starve in America. Starving in America is a state of mind. It really is. Cause in between the wildlife, you can fucking eat a possum. Uh, I get where I am is rabbits all over the fucking place.
Squirrel,
Hell, you lost you, Black
Uh,
Guru. Kind of break out.
quail.
Seriousness.
Where you go?
yeah,
I'm waiting when things really get to be super bad. I'm going to record them and show them to my niece because I have a niece. I'm going to show them videos to her and say, you see, this is what happened when you be good productive men. You're behind to kiss and decide to lean on the government only. We're gonna start. So make a good decision about your life so that you don't end up like these starving hoes.
Well, Roger, you won't starve, brother. I'm gonna tell you off top. We're gonna look
You say
out
you ain't gonna starve.
But I appreciate that, brother. But you know what else? I wouldn't just come up there and get your food. I would at least offer you some services for it. Why? Because I
for you.
believe I'm supposed to be a productive individual in
Yes,
this
sir.
society.
Yes,
Heck,
sir.
this is a capitalist society. What's the big thing about working?
Right.
And anybody who is religious, especially if you go down that Christian road, we were giving work for our sake. It wasn't for the Lord's sake. He gave us work as a punishment for our sake. So what's so bad about working? But T'Challa has come up, so let me let him get the mic.
What's happening?
T'Challa, you got it,
Tyler?
brother.
What's good, my guy? What's good?
Wakanda
Yeah.
forever.
Hey, good morning to you, Roger, as the host, and all the gentlemen on the panel.
Yes.
I'm coming in a bit late, but I did look at the videos, and I mean, look, I think everybody knew this was going to happen, but just not like this. There's a lot of disorganization with the way this is happening, and it's okay to taper down these and decrease the funding on these SNAP benefits if that's what the president feels he needs to do. The thing is that you can't be abrupt and just put people in a situation where they're in a where they're in an emergency situation. That would be my criticism of it. But I don't have this overarching disagreement with trimming down the funding and then putting requirements on it and doing it in a way that does not put people in an emergency situation. That will be my criticism of what's happening right now. And it seems as if the Trump administration, because it's his it's under him, so I got to put it on him. Is not doing a good job as far as taking care of people in the short term. The one good thing that they are doing is that I noticed that for the first, and by the way, just so you guys know, for the first time ever in history that's been recorded, the military is not getting paid. The military. So they had to put together a special congressional executive order, whether it is some type of anything, whatever it is they had to do to put something through in order to make sure that the military folks are getting something, because that's the first time I've ever heard of it. So that's unusual. Just so you guys know that that's happening. Now, the military, when they do get the funding back on, they will get back pay. So that is going to happen. The thing is that bills are due. Some things have to be paid. People got to eat. So that's unusual for even a shutdown. So that's what I'm talking about when I say that there's some irresponsibility in how they're going about doing this. But as far as trimming it down, cutting the budget, and then, the tapering off over time, so that way people are not so dependent on the government, and women aren't making mistakes to the extent that they're producing children out of wedlock and incentivized not to have husbands. Yeah, that does need to change. And the reason I say that is that one of the major I don't want to make this too political. One of the major conservative talking points is women are incentivized to produce these children without husbands. And what happens is they get caught in these situations when the benefits get cut. So that would be my initial assessment of it, is that it's okay to do it, but you have to do it in a way that doesn't bring like immediate harm and stress and dire straits to a bunch of people in such a short period of time. And again, you got to cover people like the military, which is what they're doing, but at the same time, it's just a lot of disunity and disorganization and dysfunction with this. I'll go ahead and land right there.
Can we clarify something? This is not an administrative action from the executive branch. This is Congress's fault. So I know we want to paint the picture because we got a president we don't like, but this ain't the president that did this. The executive branch had nothing to do with this. This is Congress's fault.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, so they're using legislation.
Hold on now.
Prove me wrong.
Hold on.
Yeah.
That brother's right.
Didn't he call it my big beautiful bill?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I was
isn't
gonna
that
mention,
Yep, we already got the message.
there is no bill that is presented before a Republican Congress and a Republican president that the Republican president did not want. That don't happen.
True. Very true. But that bill doesn't contain anything that cuts off SNAP today.
Well, the bill is being used as leverage by Congress.
You got to authorize the bill in order for the SNAP benefits to be released.
True. But it's not stopping SNAP benefits. The fact that they're holding it up is stopping SNAP benefits.
All right. Well,
no, what's holding
I don't know where you guys at though.
They disagree.
They disagree
on some major issues. And on some major issues, and they're willing to let everything else ride as a result of that.
Very true. I don't disagree. Problem is, president don't vote on bills. That happens in Congress. It ain't even got out of Congress.
Yeah, I'm going to say, we do have to look at this as this is what the Congress people want us to have as a group. And that's what I really want people to take from. This is what our Congress wants us to have.
Let's talk about how the process really works, because the Congress by Constitution does that, but they're not going to present anything major in that bill that Trump does not want. A Republican Congress, a Republican-controlled Congress is not going to present any bill or negotiate any bill that a Republican president does not already want. Yeah, in terms of the Constitution, officially Congress does the budget, but it's done by the power and the bully pulpit of the presidency.
I don't disagree, Uru, but hold on. Sorry, Roger, but hold on. That is not in their job description to do it that way. They're choosing to do it this way.
But that's how they do it. But that's
I understand, but Democrats,
and that's how they've always done. That's how
but Democrats do it too, right? But so what I'm saying is the responsible. Wait, hold on. The responsible party is a party who's making the choice to do this. They're not required to do it. They're just doing it because they want to support their own peoples. I get it. I'm not saying you're wrong, but that don't change who's responsible to push this through. Whatever their reason is for doing it is irrelevant.
All right,
We got to
now,
stop trying to give these politicians a way out. Oh well, the president don't like it, and if all of Congress voted for it, if 90% of Congress voted for the bill, and it goes to the Senate, and 90% of the Senate votes for it, you think the president could actually politically veto it? He couldn't. He'd be the
No,
villain, and he's not going to do that. But
no,
they don't want to do that.
no.
They chose to play the role.
But if you're afraid of the president, what happens
Of
is
course.
that because
Yeah.
a third of the Congress turns over, all of the Congress and a third of the Senate turns over every 2 years. So
Exactly.
if you are fearful of their presidency, your decision making for the existential threat to you politically is that of you being estranged from their presidents.
all right.
So,
I
Now,
don't disagree. But I'm just saying you're making a choice. People go hungry, or I make the president mad. They choosing people go hungry.
all right.
That's all
Well,
I'm saying.
unfortunately, I got to choose to get these other two guys in. We got no placeholder that came up, and the names protagonists that came up too. So, if y'all would allow me, I need to get these brothers in.
Apologies.
RG, you won't go hungry, brother. Don't worry about
No placeholder. You have to flow, my brother, and we'll get the names protagonists in right after you, regardless of how people want to respond. Go ahead, no placeholder.
it.
What's going on, Roger? Well,
How
what's
you
going
doing,
on,
brother?
panel? I'm doing well. Truth Teller kind of made my point. I want to just say one additional point that I want to add is that other services in the government are being affected by the shutdown beyond the fact that the SNAP program is not facilitated. I understand that food is a necessity and it's a more pressing matter, but yeah, that's all I want. So it's like it is a government shutdown, so it is understood. That's what happens when the government shut down. I agree, but we have to kind of like see the Democrats politicizing this to their advantage. So they're kind of like screaming, and even in the previous comments, I believe somebody read that the funding is available until the end of October, which means that no one is currently without benefits right now. So it's a lot of politics. But anyway, I'll end there. Thank you.
I'm gonna say just quickly because I was talking to one of my friends about this, who, he digs into stuff a little more than I do usually. He said you need 260 votes to get whatever to get it through. Republicans have provided 200 votes. The Democrats have provided 0 votes. So it's almost like the Democrats are playing some political football to make this stuff happen, because at the end of the day, they just don't care. They rather people have a food issue and possibly a Medicaid issue as well, while they hold up everything to get whatever I don't know what they're trying to get done, but playing with political footballs is far more important than the people who need to receive stuff to them. Okay. And that's just a matter of fact. Is that true? I hadn't had a chance to look it up. I just was told this yesterday. But the nameless protagonist, you have the floor, my friend.
To the chat and the instructors on the panel. Os.
Os.
Peace.
I am biased about this topic, and I want to make that clear from the beginning so there's transparency. I am one of the individuals that is affected by the shutdown specifically. I'm also furloughed, and I'm also classified as essential. So not only am I not being paid, I'm deemed critical enough to where I still have to go to work. So I'm in an interesting position. So I wanted to I've raised a lot of flags at work about why this is going on. And what Truth Teller was highlighting is absolutely critical. But this was something that was bound to happen since the Clinton era, when they decided to make leveraging funding a political focal point that you could use to armbar compliance for policies that have nothing to do with what you're talking about. This became an inevitable possibility. And this actually almost happened earlier this year in March. And Schumer decided to agree to it. He said, while we have our issues, while we may want to push our specific understanding of these things, it's not worth harming the American people. With that said, he got so much backlash, so much of a consequence, and his seat is potentially not only up for grabs, but he may be replaced by other perspectives within his party, that he finds himself pressured to do something. I think this ends up being a mutual strategy. It becomes this political tick for tat where they said, fine, you control the House, which is where the majority of the bills have to go to get even presented. Then they go to the aristocratic wing, which is the Senate. The Republicans own so much of a majority, but as a failsafe, you have to get 60 votes at least from the Democrats in order to agree. In protest, they said no. So they did that up until the government has shut down. And now we're in a situation where this actually has nothing to do with SNAP benefits. The SNAP benefits problem is a peripheral issue. I'm going to point to something very obvious. Two things. You already know about the air traffic issue. That's got a hard timer with Thanksgiving on the way. But the real bigger issue is the fact that they are making a contentious point about what was put in the big, beautiful bill to recontextualize how people were getting access to certain things, including healthcare. But there was already a deadline for the healthcare on December 31st, meaning that this didn't have to be brought up as a sticking point. It was something completely separate that could have been negotiated outside of trying to settle the national funding for the fiscal year 2026. This was something being done intentionally politically, and it was to armbar leverage and simultaneously give the image of pushback. The response that was done in conjunction to that is, okay, if the federal government is closed and all of these people are furloughed, that means there is a laundry list of government agencies that simply are not there. And the overwhelming majority of them are oversight entities that, for example, certain parts of OPM, other parts that are responsible for maintaining compliance with government standard for things. And it's all fun and games until it begins to hit infrastructure, and it already is. Pretty soon, you're going to start hearing stories about what's happening to the housing market, because a lot of the things that you need to do, and for you guys that work in trades, you know about this. There are certain insurances you need to have to maintain certain compliance. And right now, a lot of people are in renewal for these contracts, and a lot of the people who are supposed to be managing that are furloughed. They're not there and they can't process it. People who deal with tax issues that are connected to the IRS that are supposed to be verifying a lot of these things, they're not there, which makes banks hesitant. That makes the civilian sector hesitant, and it begins to create a rippling stagnation effect. You've got certain things that can't get put through related to cybersecurity. There's government standards you've got to meet, and anybody that's in anybody that does cybersecurity, there's a lot of folks with that in the space. There's certain qualifications that you have to meet just off the equipment tip. A lot of those people, they're not getting paid because the money for that's just not there, because there's no appropriations for it. But you still got to maintain compliance. And the rest of the world isn't going to stop just because the government isn't shut down. So I came up here because I want to sort of dispel this idea that it's just about food benefits. This is actually a much bigger issue, which is my subjective opinion. I think it's probably going to end soon. But if it continues, please don't think that this is regulated to the conversations we have about that. This is much deeper, and you should be questioning what the motivations and intentions are. Because as Roger said in the very beginning, both sides are beginning to benefit from this in different ways. And this was not on accident. This is a tick for tat, and it's the people who are being used as the currency to pay for it.
Just to follow up on that, just so everybody knows, the Democratic Party never put forth a counter. They just voted it down. They never put forth a counter in regards to what they thought the bill should include, just so we're all aware. And secondly, besides that not countering, and the Republicans already knowing why they're doing this. The other problem with this is it's a show to make somebody look bad. It's not going to last more than 20 days. Because inside of 10 days, when there's no food for people and the news just shows people hungry, looking for help, going to church, looking for help, suddenly these niggas is going to figure out, okay, the bill's fine, let's go ahead and pass it with no changes. So we're going to see how ridiculous our Congress is. And when we give them out options talking about they got to deal with politics, we're the problem at that point. Because they're not in there for politics.
Well,
They're supposed to be in there for negotiation. I know we think they're in there for politics. And we got political science, and we got schools for doing this, and we got, thought patterns and methodologies and all that based on politics. But all being a politician is you being able to negotiate. Corporations do it. Churches do it. Your local store does it when they get an inventory. It's not a political thing to negotiate for the benefit of your clients. They put politics in it so they don't have to do anything. And we don't get that yet. It's been 200 some odd years. We still don't get it.
Well, what I would say is that as a person who was military as well, who was military and who was federal service, I understand clearly what Nameless is speaking about, because this is not a new thing for military to experience non-payment and still are still required to be essential to the process or the program. Federal service workers as well experience the same thing. You get furloughed, and you will still have to perform the duties and not be paid. And it is a bigger thing. I know, Roger, you started out with the SNAP, and it kind of went deeper than that. But there are military families that are being subjected to this kind of this issue because they're not afforded they're not in a position to be able to pay their bills or get food, whatever. There are programs in place for military to receive food stamps and other benefits that went due to issues like this when it comes to people needing help and the government shuts down. This is not a new thing. When I went into the military, I went in 89. There were issues in 89, 90, and the same thing. Government was still shutting down. Military was still being furloughed or put in a position where they weren't receiving certain benefits. Federal service workers were receiving this as well. We're experiencing this as well. So it does go deeper, and perhaps those who aren't military or who weren't military or federal service workers, they aren't necessarily privy to these kind of things because they aren't in that situation. So it can be challenging, especially in Nameless's position, because he's an essential worker. And he's being furloughed, and he hasn't been paid. He has to take care of things just as well. You see, Roger, you trying to start something?
That's your homie. That's your homie.
Why are you supposed to shove up and talk about me, man?
That's your man's, ain't
it? Yes, sir, it is. Yeah, but you did it. You put it on the screen.
I can't put up what your man don't say. I can't put up what your man don't
you displaying certain behaviors, like I said.
but go P, I want to be clear on why I brought that up. I brought it up to really highlight the compounding issues that this brings. I'll, in the interest of OPSEC, I won't say too much, but I'll simply say that if you were around for this, Gold P, you remember when they did all of that downsizing in 96?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
sir.
So for those that don't know, what happened is in the effort of trying to save money, they made a whole bunch of cuts in 96. And they cut from the top down, which was dumb in and of itself. But they got a little too zealous, mainly because they were still off the high from the Gulf War. And at the time, nobody was seeing us militarily. Nobody was seeing us. The issue ended up being is when they began to make all of those cuts, what they didn't account for was how much more work the people who were left had to end up doing.
Right.
And it got to a point where within a year, they not only found themselves critically low because they burnt out the people who were left over already, they ended up having to create new sign-on bonus incentives to get people to come back after they kicked them out.
Right.
And it was ludicrous offers. You probably missed this part, Gold P, because you probably mad you went in when you did. Fam, they were getting 30,000, 40,000 sign-on bonuses just to get people to sign up for the military, man. But this was before 9/11 happened. 9/11 happened, they started rolling that back. I wanted to highlight the pattern because that is what got capitalized when they started to shut down. Now they can start doing the downsizing that they were starting to do with Doge, and there's not even anybody there to provide pushback for a lot of this stuff. So this is like a Chinese finger trap, and what I was highlighting here about who benefits from this now, because they both have found ways to profit off of this, which is why I really want to put the people front and center in all of this. None of this is happening in isolation. This SNAP issue, potentially this WIC issue, which is also going to come up, the housing funding issue, these are all second order effects of bigger issues that are about to start cascading. And I'm telling you now, for the travel season in particular, the moment we get closer to Thanksgiving and we've got this ATC shortage, it's just going to be a no-go. They can't do this for much longer. But if they do, what is that saying about the Congress? Because fundamentally, the only people who could put a stop to this right now is all they need is 5. They need 5 Democrats to co-sign on it, and it can change. And they won't do it.
I would say this, man.
This is a proof, as I've been saying for years now. Unfortunately, I've lost talent, so y'all can't go back and hear me say it all them other time. These people don't work for us. They have their own agendas. They don't really care about the American people, because they know we're going to vote Democrat or Republican anyway. So their thing is just how many they can get to revote Democrat, how many they can get to revote Republican. I do understand there's other parties that exist that people don't really vote for, which my thing is, give me anybody other than the Democrat or Republican, because I at least want to see what the other people will do, because I know what the Democrats going to do, and I know what the Republicans going to do. And if I was a voter, and I'm sitting here in need of these programs, I'm gonna make somebody pay somehow. That's my thing. We allow way too much stuff to happen to us, and people just get to do it, and it's never an issue. And I understand this is not just reduced to food, but if that's your political football, why you want these people who can control you receiving food to make these decisions? Because this is what's important to you. It's hard to see anything else is important until you eat. You know, that's the way I look at life. You want me to work, but I ain't ate yet? How we doing that? I don't even understand how to do that. You know, I got to eat before I get up to go work. You know, that's just me.
Well, Roger, back to Nameless's position and military veterans and military period. You can say, you know, you got to eat before you go out and work, but you know, it's a different get down when you're military and you have these figures dictating how things will move, because military, when you put your right hand up and you swear allegiance, man, you're in a position of whether you eat or not, you got to go out and do the job. Now, I would say this.
The thing that is a voluntary thing, though. I don't think they should do that to the military at all. I'm totally against them doing stuff like that to the military, but I have to, you know, push the fact that is a voluntary thing that people sign up for. I don't think they should abuse it, but it is a voluntary thing, and that's come with the territory, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But I'm just pointing out when we look at this whole situation in a whole, as a whole, and I'm saying that we as veterans, as active duty and people who are federal service workers, whatever have you, we are in a precarious type of position when it comes to this conversation. And I don't know if you remember, Nameless, before 96, they were already offering people to get out, but it was either you get out or you get kicked out because you can't, because you remember they was making changes to how you could stay in. If you test or how you would test, your weight limits.
Yeah, Hegseth is bringing that back. That's where he got that phrase from. But I wanna course correct slightly because I want to emphasize not just the military, but I'm gonna put an asterisk here.
Yes, sir.
What they managed to do to fund was their last check, and that came from appropriations that was supposed to have been for research and development. They managed to reacquiesce the overwhelming majority of those funds, which hadn't been spent yet, or they canceled where they were going to go to, and then reappropriated them to pay the military. That took care of them on the 15th. However, they're due to get paid again on the 31st, and there's nothing left to use to make that happen. So while they do have, commanders have been briefed on how to address that on a 1-for-1, and the military does a very good job in giving discounts and having certain forgiveness things. So I don't think they're going to run into major issues like you can't live in the barracks. You're not going to get permission to gain access to the commissary because they've got much more control over that stuff on base and on post than other people would. It's going to be the federal workers that are going to be tied to essential service that still got to go in who are going to be screwed by this, because once this gets past the 24th and people have to choose between childcare and getting money, what do you think people are going to start doing? That's the quiet part no one's talking about. And I use the example of the 96 cuts to show how in ATC, that's not a position. And this is something you remember, Gold P. What you'll remember is that they cut their most experience. So if we parallel this to ATC, individuals have years they need in order to be suitable to run these towers. And now you're stressing them when they were already stressed. You got the Black Hawk scenario. You've got people are working below the minimum requirements all over the country with this. It's already at a critical mass. And you can't just go borrow ATCs from another agency casually and just replace them like you could somebody who has a job that can be trained in 2 to 3 months or less. So this is the bigger issue. Yeah, go ahead, fam.
Before you say it, perfect, because I was just going to make room for you. Before you say it, though. No, it's fine, brother. I just want to throw it out there, y'all. And I just double checked it myself because, I be thinking sometimes, but I double checked it and I was right. I just asked Google, does Congress get paid during the government shutdown?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yes, they absolutely do. In fact, they voted to.
They changed the rule. They changed the rule. They changed the rule. That's why Stephen A. walked off the stage. So the other day, Nameless, Stephen A. Smith, they had a town hall. A black man stood up. He's an ATC, but he's working Uber at night. Number one, we don't want air traffic controllers working double jobs because he got to pay his daughter tuition. He stood up and asked the politicians, how long? This is what I said on my channel. I said, it's not a woke mentality, it's a broke mentality, because he asked them, how long is this going to last? He didn't care about Democrat or Republican. He understood that the government is broken, and all he cared about is how long it's going to stay broken. I don't care who fix it, but I know y'all ain't going to fix it, and y'all don't care about me. So how long are y'all going to play this game? And another thing, Nameless, when you said those federal employees are going to be hurt the most, would you please reiterate to the audience and people listening in the replay, how many of those people are black? I just watched a video this morning about Baldwin Hills and View Park, the highest paid, the community outside of Washington, D.C., the community outside of L.A., the community outside of Chicago with the richest black families. You know what they said? The number one employer? Federal government for that housing development with those millionaire blacks outside of Washington, D.C. So when Nameless
is talking about Silver Springs, Maryland.
Correct.
ahead, fam. Yep.
These are black people, wealthy black. The percentage of blacks who work for the federal government is 18%. We're only 13% of the nation. We overwhelm, and the Democrats know this. The other comment I put in the chat was a Democrat Senate Congressperson, because the Democrats are doing this, who said we have to do this because we need the people to feel pain. And this is our only power to get policy. The Democrats are doing this purposely, and they know this disproportionately negatively affects blacks, minorities, and single parents.
And I want to double down on a single point here, because there's two tiers to this. Number one, you've got essential and non-essential. And it's interesting because you'll see that a lot of essential and non-essential is split between political lines, where a lot of people who are making the most money out of that, they're furloughed or they're contractors. And if they're contractors, they're not necessarily affected by this because they can go do the civilian. But if they are individuals who were impacted by that massive 300,000 cut that went down, those are the positions that were created artificially to get people in the government directly out of colleges. And this was the push and pull that are tied to that. You'll notice that a lot of black men are still in the government because they were in essential positions. This is, you could call it like the A&M version of federal government work. We've got a hard skill set that's not in the office somewhere. And if it is, we're in a middle management position that can't be left home because you got to be there and serve as a proxy. Black men occupy a lot of those spots that are essential. And that's why we're asymmetrically impacted by that. And in our demographic as a whole, that gave us the opportunity to go middle class in a lot of areas where we otherwise wouldn't have been able to. So the federal government piece is massive.
Hold on, real quick, y'all. I'm going to be rotating some people in and out. You'll have to sit backstage for 5 to 7 minutes or so, more than like that, because I got new people coming up.
I'm dropping Roger. I got something to do. I'm dropping.
I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and finish, but Mr. Z needs to get in, and then we got Faulkner. I'm gonna bring myself down. I'm gonna bring Faulkner up, so I want him to get in right after Mr. Z. Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
What's happening, Mr. Z?
Yeah, that was all I was
What's
wanting.
up, y'all?
I wanted to reinforce the point, but Z, you got it, fam. Peace.
What's going on, y'all? Thanks for having me up, Raj. Okay, all right, y'all. So I'm all about curtailing the social safety net, but y'all know, Mister, you want to call somebody communist? Da, 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 da. So let me come in here with the hammer and sickle, and somebody play the Russian national anthem behind me, or better yet, the Soviet Union national anthem behind me. Okay, now that we're in the red and yellow season, so if nobody talking about going Luigi, I don't know what we're talking about. If y'all really think a bunch of single women and their 2 and 3 kids from two and three different men,
Z for 1 second. Let me cut off Mr. Z for 1 second. Just 1 second. This is not even a disrespectful cut off.
God damn, right? God damn.
This is not even disrespectful cut off.
Jesus, it was so disrespectful.
He was about to get on, Roger.
Thank you.
He was about to get on.
He had just started
right before overdrive, y'all. I just got into. I was about to get into 6th gear. That was fifth. Oh, I didn't put the clutch in. About to go into 6th gear. He was like, actually.
That's your brother. That is your brother.
God damn.
That's why I didn't want to let you get in too much of a groove. But look, because I had Faulkner backstage, Black Uru was backstage. Look, guys, I know I run a great show. I'm gonna pat myself on the back a little bit, and I appreciate everybody who comes to the show. Y'all, when I say I gotta rotate people in and out, I'm just saying that'll be just something I'll do in the future. It's not like I don't want y'all to come. Sometimes people are like, well, yeah, I'm just gonna give up my spot. That ain't doing me no favor. I like y'all, and I want y'all to be able to participate in the show. So, on great teams, players get benched. The people in the NBA, they still great basketball players, even if they got to sit on the bench. The people in the NFL, they still great players, even if they got to sit on the bench. So sometimes people just gonna have to get benched for 5 to 7 minutes, and we'll get you back in the game. I'm gonna make stuff work, y'all. I'm gonna get you back in the game. So don't just go away because I gotta start benching some people here and there. And I'm not gonna even start announcing it. I'm just gonna start doing it. So when you find yourself backstage, just understand you'll be there for 5 to 7 minutes probably, and we'll put you back in. That's just how it's gonna work over here at the Roger Report Live when we get the more crowded panels. But my bad, Mrs. E. Go ahead, brother.
God damn, now I gotta clutch down and get all the way back to the third. Now I gotta
neutral.
God,
Out of neutral.
exactly. God damn. Jesus Christ, bro. That killed the momentum.
We're gonna do this tether. We gotta do the tether like this, man.
Okay,
man.
Well, let's do this. You was a communist and you was mad. How about that? Does that help?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do to the commies. We gotta haze the commies. Exactly. Goddamn commie. Right. So no, I mean, if we're not gonna go the Luigiani route, Mr. Mario's brother, if y'all really think it's a bunch of single women and their kids that are really causing the US debt, then maybe you don't really know about these goddamn tax cuts. I appreciate the women having to feel the frigid cold to get their mind right, and they still ain't gonna get their mind right. I'm just letting y'all know right now, they gonna starve and die. With that, the SNAP benefits being cut, there is something larger to speak about, and why, right? This is not a Democrat thing. This is a Democrat-Republican thing. They always pull this. Whichever party is in power, the other party that wants to shoehorn whatever or just become obstacles in the way. This is when you don't have the Senate, you don't have the House, and you're not in the presidency, then guess what you do? You just become an obstruction. Both parties play this game, right? And Perfect Timing is 100% right. Where this is exactly what Schumer wanted. He wanted Trump and the Republicans to box themselves out, and voila. Now that's going to hurt federal workers. That's going to hurt a bunch of Americans on any type of government assistance. I want you to appreciate that half of Americans don't work. We have somewhere between 340 and 350 million Americans, and half of them are either too young, too old, some type of impaired, faking like they impaired, or currently unemployed. Just about half of Americans. I've said this before, and I played it for y'all. Average income in America 64,000. Median income 43,000. There are women who are married with kids who are also on government assistance. It's more difficult for them to be on government assistance, but some of them are on government assistance. Because neoliberalism and Reagan and Clinton and NAFTA and China and all of that other good stuff, right? So that's what happens when you let them take your factory jobs and send them overseas. And you become a service-based economy, and it's all about consumerism. And now that the average American is tapped out, they can't even consume what they need. Forget the wants. I want us to be careful about celebrating these people that are hurting. I know many of us in these spaces, we're doing pretty okay. We tend to be stable and above in these spaces. Shout out to us, pat ourselves on the back. With that, let's not act like we won financial mistake away from moving them back with your parents. Stop it, people. Stop it. Okay, stop it. With that, I want us also to be cautious. It's not single mothers who are causing the major pain in America. They are causing some pain, but it's not the major pain. You're gonna have to check for those corporations that are zombie corporations and that are still being floated by inflation. Is actually helping them. By the way, that's why China did what they did a couple years ago, and Evergrande and all those other real estate companies fell to the crapper. That was them taking air out the system. You know what America's not doing, because all those zombie corporations will go the way of the dodo bird. I'm saying all of this and I'm rambling to say it's really not the single mothers. I want us to be careful, right? So going to the title, in a snap, the food stamps were gone. I would much rather have the single moms on what they top of time they on than have the corporations on the top of time they on. Remember, some of these people work for Walmart, and we're subsidizing Walmart by tax dollars while they don't pay their employees enough, and that's why their employees are on food stamps. I'm not joking. That's a real thing.
Yeah, they ask you when you apply to Walmart, is anybody in your house on TA&F, so they can write you.
See what I'm saying?
And that's who they
see what I'm saying? So
half of the questions,
and that's on purpose.
About that. On purpose. They only hire you if you're on welfare. They only hire you on
the struggle.
If you don't
let me actually say one more thing. Perfect time. And I'll end out. Let me because I'm glad you brought that up, because I was trying to say this earlier. And shout out to Nameless for this. Remember, the government is the employee of last resort. Let's not act like black people don't live in America, right? Like black people live in America, black men and black women live in America, and we already know how the private sector be treating us. And most of you don't got enough money to start a business your own damn self. Not like a really big business, like like how Tesla was being subsidized by the government up until the Tesla Model 3, right? They were in the red up until the Tesla
Still,
Model 3. If you don't believe me, go look it up. Right? Oh, they still in the
yep.
red. Thank you,
Well,
Truth Teller.
no.
Right?
They're still in the
Right.
red, and they're still being subsidized.
Mhm.
Just so y'all know,
You
SpaceX,
see
all
what
that
I'm
good
saying?
stuff. Yeah.
Shout out to GM.
So there's a reason
That
why I said
goes
that.
back to the new deal.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what. So
Right.
the reason why I brought that up is because the private sector is still anti-black. I'm not trying to say that if you're trying to make big money, you don't go into the private sector, learn your skill, and then try to open a business. What I am saying is that the government is the employer of last resort. So I would be cautious about us celebrating federal workers. You gotta let go. You should have been in the private sector with those of us that if we breathe the wrong way in these right to work states, they're gonna fire us because our shoelaces are the wrong color. You should be like us. And the precarity, that's not funny. White folks used to do that to black people, and I look at their ass. And I pause right there. Thank y'all for letting me ramble. All right, thanks, Ross.
Z, to be fair, we addressed 99% of what you said earlier, and you may not have heard us.
Yeah.
So we addressed
I probably
it,
didn't. I'm sorry.
with it, and recontextualized. It's all good. I just want you to walk away knowing that we had a whole moral tug of war. Go ahead, True.
I do want to point out one thing that falls into my realm, because I'm always the one saying this, and there's a lot of disagreements to it. But when we talk about the revenue of the United States and where the money's going, we never talk about how much money's coming in. Niggas love tax cuts until you can't pay for nothing.
Hey, True.
And I want everybody listening to do something for me.
Hold on, True.
Yeah, sorry, shoot, go ahead.
Charles Faulkner.
Yeah, we got Charles up. Yeah, Charles ain't get in.
Oh, do you think, Charles? Sorry.
Go ahead, officer of the daggone law. Go ahead.
What's up, everybody?
Peace.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be quick. When it comes to this shit, the military has so many goddamn.
No, they didn't.
He got him.
Was that me? Oh, crap, they got you.
Hold on, everybody.
He may be back. Just listen.
Hold on, everybody.
I'm here.
Okay. There you go.
I said one thing about it when it comes to the military, they're not hurting. They have rent forgiveness and mortgage forgiveness. So the military is the least hurt out of anybody. They're going to be good. They have set asides just for them. They have set asides for them and the veterans, especially if you're disabled. This is what happens when you let people play with your life like a yo-yo. Up and down, up and down, up and down. This is what happens when you vote for somebody like Jasmine Crockett, who hasn't done a damn thing except Orange Man is bad, when all she's doing is minstrel politicking. All she's good for is fundraisers because, a bitch is gonna bitch. This is the reason why you get a Cory Booker speaking for 24 fucking hours about absolutely nothing. And this is the reason why you have Mitch McConnell and his senile ass falling the fuck out like he's in the middle of Baptist fucking prayer. For some odd reason, the American people have to be the dumbest motherfuckers God has ever laid eyes upon. And it's been proven time and time again. Any other goddamn, how the fuck is the country that started with revolution is afraid to vote these motherfuckers out? There should be a bloodless revolution of new people in fucking Congress by now. Everybody forgets when these 2-year terms come up for representatives and 6 years for the Senate. Why do you keep voting these motherfuckers in? This has been the biggest fuck you that a small group of people have done to 350 million people. Whether you're against SNAP or not, hell, I'm not against it. Give me my fucking shit. I earned it. Hell, I'm wearing my Iraqi freedom veteran hat now at work. I don't give a damn about what a single mother does. Trust me, she's already paying a penance. Single mothers do not live around the home. Trust me. If anybody wants to put it, oh well, she's getting off.
Well, hey, I want to say
You
this. Listen,
go ahead.
everyone. Before we continue on,
And Black
make
Ugo
sure
just
everybody
came
hit
up.
that like button.
Hey.
Support the channel. This is a great show. We're on the Roger Report. And hit that like button, support the channel. If you desire to hit that Cash App, as Roger says, the Cash App is in operation 24/7. $ the Roger Report. Hit that like button, support the channel, share, and keep rocking with us. We have a strong panel here who are beneficial to the space. And I want to make sure we don't forget that the Roger Report has been a strong channel, and we want to keep rocking with the channel. So hit that like button.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I'm
Hey,
back.
what's going on? Can I
y'all
say
hear me?
something? Can I say something?
Champ,
Go
Champ
ahead. Go
needs
ahead.
an opening statement. Champ needs an opening statement. So,
Okay.
and I appreciate the conduct when I dip out, y'all. I'm just rotating so everybody get a chance to speak.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in the back for 5 to 7 minutes, don't trip. We gonna pull you back into the game. We gonna pull you back.
After
into the
Champ,
game.
I just want to make one
okay.
comment, then I'll drop. Go ahead, Champ.
I just
After y'all
wanted to
go
say
out,
this
then I'll
real
drop.
quick.
Okay. Well,
I just want to say
hey,
this,
okay,
real quick that you got the floor.
Hold fast, Champ. Falcon want to say something. Saying he want to say something.
Because
Hold fast.
because for some reason I just got cut out. See, people really need to understand this. Like I said, I don't know how much you heard what I was saying, that there should be a bloodless revolution of voting everybody the hell out. And I think it should be a practice that we should do very often, just for old time's sakes, to keep people on their toes. Like I said before, the military is good. The first rule of business, you always pay the people with the guns, because if you don't, they turn them against you. History has dictated that several times before. Right now, if you're in the military, this is probably the best time for you, believe it or not, because you're getting so many things for you, because they have so many incentives. When it comes to forgiveness on your rent or your mortgage, they literally have that in court documentation that you can't be put out, you can't be foreclosed or any liens against you. So you're good. When it comes to a lot of the single brother shit, like I said, they're pitted upon themselves, so I don't really give a shit. You already put yourself at the bottom rung, but the most important thing is politically, whenever midterms come around, I want everybody to remember, all you federal workers, I'm speaking directly to you. I've noticed a lot of you have short memories. Every time you get furloughed, I want you to think about this. Every time you got to do DoorDash, because some of my friends are federal. Matter of fact, my homeboy came by last Friday. Him and his wife were federal workers for 15 years. I want you got a DoorDash, you got an Uber, you got to take secondary jobs or some type of other employment or occupation. I want you to remember, when it comes to midterms, primaries, and general elections, I want you to remember this feeling of uncertainty. For some of you, fear. I want you to remember this and stop having this short memory and kick a lot of these ignorant motherfuckers out, because obviously they don't give a damn about you. Especially during a time that your interest rates and your inflation is through the goddamn roof. And you have the audacity to let this happen for nearly a month now, since October 1st. October 1st, I had to watch people that I personally know have to scramble up and find some type of employment to pay bills, to get food. This hits very hard at home for me, because it should be disrespectful and let people know that the government does not fall upon itself. You get crashed upon it. So that's what I'm gonna say, and somebody else can take the floor.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm gonna take it real quick, and then I'm giving it to the champ. A shout out to Magna Void Son Dumanis. He says, Roger, Roger, Roger. If you would please articulate today, if you may, that the reason Black men's civil rights fight and progress ended is because Black men spent the last 70 years fighting for everyone else and not for self. Okay. Now I'm gonna say, to bring this into the subject of the show. Yes, black men have fought too much to help other people get in certain positions, and we have not fought hard enough so we can get what we want. But I will also say this: black men need to recognize how the government treats us differently than everybody else. They say they want to help people, but it's always help somebody other than a black man. We will celebrate other people getting victories, but we have no victories to celebrate for ourselves. And we cannot continue to go that way. Because our last real victory was like the Civil War. Okay, great victory. We helped get ourselves free. We've had some other, I'm gonna say, more minor victories since then, but it's hard to beat getting yourself free out of slavery. Hard to beat that. But we do need to fight more for what's going on with us. Now, I'm gonna say with these programs again, my thing is, because America has trained people on it so much, I wouldn't just snatch them away from people, because I think that will create a revolt. But I would stop allowing people to sign up for these programs. And I want everybody to keep in place, these programs is a political football, and this is to appeal to people's sympathy for the quote unquote single mothers. I don't have any extra sympathy for a single mother. I don't have any. I have sympathy for humans in general. I don't give anything extra because somebody's a woman instead of a man. And then I don't have extra because you decided to put your kids in a bad situation. I feel bad for the kids, but I do accept that life ain't fair. And part of having an unfair life, you're born to certain parents. That's part of having an unfair life. It is what it is. Champ, go right ahead, my brother.
Hey, what's going on? I hope you all are having a good day. And I think, first of all, this is the shutdown is nothing new. I remember this happening back in the mid '90s between Bill Clinton, who was the president of the United States at the time, and Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, and they had a series of shutdowns and everything else. But this is different. This is very, very, very different, because the people who are getting shafted, I know black folks, particularly black women, benefit from some of these programs like SNAP and everything else. But this is different because it's affecting a lot of white folks. White folks have for years and years and years been complaining about us, saying that we're benefiting this, we're benefiting that. But white folks are getting shafted a lot. And that's why they have that event going on over the weekend. I think it was called the No Kings. The No Kings thing that was going on. It was going on around my city and everything else. And
It was nationwide.
And yeah, it was nationwide. It was nationwide, and I've never seen white folks protest like that before. I've never seen something like that. You didn't see any black folks, protesting like that. And when you see white folks doing something like that, you know that this is serious. This is very serious. And both parties, Democratic and Republican parties, have really played the American people and everything else, and it's doing a lot of harm and everything. But the white folks right now, when you see them protesting like that, you know that something around the corner is going to get real, real ugly and everything else. So all I can just say is just sit back, watch. I wouldn't get too involved in it. I think one thing too, Roger, I want to say this: one of the most powerful things you can have right now is land. Because if you have land, you can grow your own food and you can feed your own people. And that's what we really should be focusing on right there. So I'm going to land my plane.
Okay. And I want to say shout out to No Placeholder. He came through, dropped $10. He said supporting black men media. Appreciate that, brother. He dropped it in the Cash App. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Y'all. Now, my thing is there's a political game going on. Real talk, the political game going on. And the food issue that I did bring up, because I think that's the heart of things, and it's about playing on people's sympathies and making you take a position. And I'm gonna say, even as men, my thing is, I don't have no issue with women to the point that I'm gonna say, just let them starve for the sake of starving. No, it's just that I don't believe we supposed to be giving this food out to them in the first place. And if you can work, just go get a job. And if people say, well, what if she can't get no job? This America, make one up. And you know what? And I know I say that, I don't know how people take it. People have this idea, well, that's easier said than done. Yeah, it is easier said than done, but you're an adult, right? Don't adults have to do hard things? Ain't that what we graduate to when we graduate out of being a child? Hard things have to be done. As a child, you can avoid a lot of hard things, especially depending upon who parenting you. But as an adult, you can't just avoid hard stuff forever. That ain't what adults are supposed to be doing. And since you are in a country that allows you to simply create your own job, if that's what it takes, then just do what it takes. And, for people say, well, what if she got a bunch of kids? Well, guess what? You can teach your kids how to become business owners by helping them manage themselves and getting into a good position too. Is it really going to hurt your children to watch you start a business? I don't see how that's a bad thing. But understand politically how your quote unquote representatives think about you. We only get this because your representative don't think highly of you. If I'm voting for a person who let me starve, I don't think they get my vote. I'm just throwing that out there. You let my money stop, I don't think I can vote for you anymore. I done forgot how to vote for you. You messing with my money, you messing with my food, I cannot figure out how to vote for you. I'll take anybody but you. Cause you the devil I know. And I know people say, well, you better the devil you know. Nah, because the devil I know will let me starve and go broke. I need a new one because I don't know the other person gonna be a devil. But if they gonna be a devil, what worse they gonna do to me than let me starve and let me go broke? I can't vote for you no more. We ain't on the same team, and you made that clear to me. So I agree with what Faulkner's talking about. Real talk. It should be a bloodless revolution. And how can I vote for somebody who don't want me to eat and don't want me to make money? That don't make sense to me.
What if
Short
the
memories, man.
big
It's called
beautiful
short memories. And the most disgusting part about it is that people have this loyalty to parties that damn them straight to hell. You look at the Democratic Party in cities like mine, like Baltimore. What has it gotten us? More crime, less education, less opportunities, less occupations. Hell, you can't even start a business without a license. You can't even legally start a business without a license. If you can't afford food, you damn sure can't afford some of these licenses. Hell, the license for a security business in Maryland, a dual private detective and security, is $350. Get this, to renew it is $400. How come the renewal is more than the initial? It's robbery. But yet you constantly vote these people in. I think people either have Stockholm syndrome or they like the torture they get. Now, if you're saying that a few people could have stopped this and said, hey, let it go past and let's get these people the food and resources they needed, there's no reason you should still be in office. You are not a representative. You are a seditious traitor. You are the enemy. Every proverbial, not literal crosshair should be pointed at you. You should be out there for the first thing spoken. Sorry. If you vote for these people, these same parties and people again, you're a damn fool.
All right. You were gonna say something, Black Guru?
Can I say something real quick? Yeah, I agree. I just wish both parties didn't exist at all. I just wish we had multiple parties, whether it's Green Party, Libertarian Party, Social Workers Party, because if we have that, we can at least balance the power and everything else and take the power away from the corporations. Though that's another problem, is that we got all these corporate people, big money people, billionaires class that sit up there funding our political leaders and everything else. So somehow or some way we got to get rid of that.
I think that's that system is baked in. I mean, it would take a significant amount of time to bring up other parties, or I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying, when things are baked in, it's going to take a significant amount of time to unbake the cake, to throw away the cake, if any. But I would say that our challenges are definitely ahead of us. We a number of us here on the panel, especially, are familiar with how things go, and I think we're like in the few who have an understanding of these things, and it can be challenging to get people to see our view. And we don't need a lot of people. You only need a certain amount of people, but getting those people to get some understanding and move it in a direction that's beneficial to our well-being or their well-being, whatever have you, is a challenging feat. I just wanted to express that.
So we actually do have multiple parties, right? The thing is that the system is now. This is legal, actions that they're taking in order to do this. Is that rules have been written in order so that way the people with the most money get to be on the big stage. That's really all it is. Out of all the people that were in that last election, so you had obviously the Democrats, Republicans, Green Party, Libertarians. There was a couple more parties. There was like, if you guys looked at the ballot, there was like six or somewhere between, I know at least six, probably 8 parties on the ballot. And 6 of them most people had never heard of. The one guy that I actually would have liked to have seen come up and get at least some national exposure, because maybe he's not a real politician or somebody who's real versed in government, but you know what he does care about? People. And he was a part of the Green Party. That's Butch Ware. They need to get rid of the woman and put him up front, and then he needs to actually get on a national stage, because he was the only one making sense out of everybody. Or at least his focus was, okay, I actually care about the people. I may not know about everything geopolitically. I may not be this, the guy that knows everything about government, but I do know about taking care of people and looking out for the people. And that's what you're supposed to do. The people are supposed to come first, and then everybody else and all this other stuff thereafter, right? The thing is that everything's about corporations, wealthy elite, special interests, and the citizens are completely forgotten. That's where we're on this right now. And the rules are written that way, so that way those two parties are going to always stay in power because of the money.
Well, I'm gonna say, as a people, you got to start having the idea of what you can and can't live without. I can live without the Democrats. I don't know about y'all, but I can. Plus, I can live without the Republicans, because at the end of the day, they've been in charge since I've been alive. So I don't like neither party at this point. It's that simple to me. Okay, nobody can give me a reason to like these parties. So I would take any of the other parties in charge and see what they do. It can't be worse than what I'm already getting, and real talk. If I was a person, if I had the viewpoint of some of these people who need these programs, and I'm not saying they actually need the program, but they, in their mindset, they need this food program. I got these people playing with my dinner. That wouldn't sit right with me at all. You can't. It's few things. I mean, you can play with a lot of things, but it's a few things that's supposed to be off the table. You don't play with people's food, and you don't play with people's money. Real talk. That's just supposed to be off the table in general, because that's how people stay alive. Okay? When you play with my food and my money, you're threatening my life. I know everybody don't necessarily get that, but I understand the connection of playing with my money or my food. You are literally playing with my life. And since I want to stay alive, that's going to be a problem for me. Now, I don't think we should have all these people on these programs in the first place, but I do understand what could happen if we just start snatching benefits from people. So I don't think that's the best way to solve the problem. I think you just stop letting new people on the programs and you call it a day. You automatically save money because people are dying off. That's just the way human life works. You're going to die off and we're not going to have to fund your portion of the program anymore. So money will be saved every single year as long as you stop letting new people on. And, we can deal with people who need charitable things going on in a much different way. But I'm going to say, even though I agree it's cool to help people in need, just because somebody's a single mother, I do want y'all to have the idea, just because somebody's a single mother does not mean you're in a condition that you cannot work. That is not a condition. Being a single mother is not a condition. Losing an arm is a condition. Okay, being blind is a condition. Being a single mother is not a quote unquote condition, unless you're a widow.
Hey, Roger, listening to you talk about Michael Jordan is a condition. I'm saying
Six NBA rings is not a condition, sir. That is creating an opportunity and taking advantage of it.
Okay, Roger.
Roger, just to clarify, in the Green New Deal under the last administration, they did designate being a single mom as a job, and they intended to pay them simply for being single mother. That's just to reiterate, and I just also want to throw in, like, piggyback on what Mr. Z said earlier. The conversation went into like the corporations, like this is a capitalist system, right? So Mr. Z said Luigi and communist. So I don't know if y'all caught what he meant by Luigi and like if the corporation, I did. Yeah, corporations and everything, that's the problem, then that's the other alternative, because we're currently a capitalist society. It's always going to be like this unless you want to go the way of. And that's what we're having. That's the civil, I'm not going to say the 3-letter word, but that's what we're having now in Portland, right? There are people who believe that they want to go that far left. And remember what them girls said. They took the microphone out of Bernie Sanders' hands. They said they trained, Carl, the guy who wrote that manifesto. They said they're trained in that. And people have been, I don't think they've been aware of what's been happening on the political arena for the last couple of years since BLM on the left side. They are putting forth tactics from that manuscript. And that's their goal. I don't know if you guys really follow politics like that, but when they said that, and you start seeing the left move that way, we're if you guys wanted a different type of party, well, secretly and quietly, we got one.
Well, actually, the truth be told, okay, all right, I'm gonna have to hit all of us as the citizens of the country as the problem in this case, right? First of all, if y'all haven't realized it, you do not live in a capitalistic country. If you don't believe me, look up what the definition of capitalism is. It is not the financial system we use here, just so y'all are all aware. We're more closer to a communist system than we are a capitalistic system, if you didn't realize it yet. I know when people say you're a communist, they go haywire, but technically everybody who's a citizen of the United States is actually a communist. That's first. Second, can somebody please Google how much money Chase Bank paid in taxes in the last 5 years? Does anybody want to take a guess on what that number is?
I'm pretty sure they can afford all the right letters where that stays at 0.
Yes, it's been 0 for a long time. Now, you know what else I know? Do you know what our corporate tax rate, let's not even talk about personal tax rate, what the corporate tax rate has been since 1900 till now? You wouldn't even guess. It's averaging at 31%.
31%.
In 1910, they lowered it to 1%. The whole make the economy nice and everything. But when the war started up in the 40s, they increased it to 40%. And then it went to 52% after that. And it stayed that way until the 90s. And in the 90s, they cut it by 35%. And in the 2000s, they cut it another 30%. What I'm pointing out to y'all is, if y'all niggas really want everything to be cool, you got to come out your pockets more. And you have to be comfortable with businesses coming out their pockets more. And I don't know about y'all, but every panel I've ever been on, if I brought up companies need to pay goddamn taxes, everybody goes haywire.
So you said it
So
was Chase Morgan? You said it was Chase Morgan?
Morgan Chase Bank has paid 0% tax in the last 5 years annually.
It's a lot of other companies too.
So according to Macro Trends, it says 46 billion over the past 5 years.
Oh no! You have to take into account the refunds they get.
Okay.
Oh, corporations get refunds too. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. They do pay taxes into the system, but they get refunds at the end of the year, just like the rest of us.
That's the tax breaks they're talking about, right?
Oh well, come on, Yeah, how they move numbers around, make the books look good.
I'm sure there's a way that they do it, but I'm just telling you, just to kind of for public purposes, the claim is 46 billion over the past 5 years.
Oh, I know. I know what the claim is. I know what they're paying though.
Well, this is where we gotta reach back and pick up the clues that people drop us from time to time. When Donald Trump was running that first time, what did he say? I don't pay taxes, because that's how the rules are.
Yeah.
I know we're getting over because I use the rules that they put in place to get over.
And
that's what I do.
What did he say to her? He said, you can change it, but you not because you benefit from it too.
Exactly. Did you guys know that if you own a very large property and it loses a significant value in a given year, that value that you lost, you could write it off? So let's say you bought $1 million house and the following year the housing market crashed. Sorry, I got calls. Y'all pass. Let's say you bought $1 million house and the housing market crashed. Your $1 million house is now worth $200,000. You've lost $800,000 in that year. You could write that off.
And technically, you've lost actually nothing.
You still own the property.
Or you can just go chapter. What is it? What is bankruptcy? Chapter 6 or 7?
Well, there's a few.
There's different ones for different goals.
Yeah.
So the thing is, now, so you guys talked about capitalism, right? So here's the other thing too. So, you could argue that the United States is a capitalist country, right, or practices capitalism, but they also, implement socialism, right, in the sense that, they give out essentially benefits so that way people can. So part of those giving out those benefits is that way you can have those voters relying on you to actually continue to get those benefits. That's part of the reason that's done, right? Because you have people who are going to continue to vote a certain way because they're getting something from it. If you take that away, now then what do they get? Now you actually open it up for people to look at it. Okay, so where do I need to go to vote to get something that's going to benefit me since they're cutting that stuff off?
But the belief is changing because the system broke, right? So we owe, like Mr. Z brought this up too. We own and we all doing well, but the 20-year-olds, right?
They hurt.
Yeah, the system broke for them, so they want to renegotiate, and their understanding of what is required and what they want from a government, they want it all. They have a Marxist socialist understanding. They believe healthcare should be free. They believe food should be free. They believe all these things are growing on the earth. They have a more holistic approach. They don't have an American approach to these things.
That's not true. That's not true.
This was happening in Portland. This is what they don't.
No.
The news.
You don't understand. Well, hear me out. You don't understand. There's a reason why they think that way, because that's how America has always been functioning. These aren't new things.
No, I'm not saying that. I agree with you. And they have been risen up in cartoons and everything to believe this way. But when you see the Luigi doesn't exist. He's not an anomaly. They all believe this. That's why they cheat.
I hear you, but they should believe it because that's what the government does. The only reason why in Portland it doesn't work out is because they're not funding it appropriately and they're not governing it appropriately. They're letting it fall to shambles.
Correct.
Because they don't want it to succeed. It's not that it can't work. No, it can work really well. They want you to believe it can't work. You ever hear people walking around on these panels saying communism or socialism never works? You literally live in a socialistic system. How can it never work? The road you drive on is from socialism.
It's from socialism.
The schools you go to is from socialism. Even the private
It's from
ones.
socialism. Even the private ones.
The bank you go to is socialism.
The bank you go to is socialism.
How do you avoid it?
How do you avoid it?
No, I'm not saying that. Hey, I'm saying that there's a new understanding, right? They have let you the agreement that was made.
Somebody got a.
Hold on, Black Rules. I think that's Black Rules. So if y'all hear echo, that means y'all gonna have to stop because I think that's Black Rules, and he gonna have to be able to get his words.
Shout out to
Perfect. Finish up, and then let Black Rules say what he want to say. And yeah, if y'all hear echo, y'all gonna have to chill because of Black Rule, and it's Black Rule's fault. It ain't mine. I didn't tell him to be no elder.
Why
He
you
decided
playing
that.
Uru?
Damn. Go ahead, Perfect.
I yield to the elder. Go ahead, please.
Well, it's interesting. I've had conversations with my daughters, younger people. I agree. I think with what Perfect is saying is true. I think the younger people are adopting. There's a reason why, had it not been for Hillary Clinton and that dame that ran the DNC.
God damn it, Black Rule. This is what I was about to say.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why we almost had a socialist president, and that's because a lot of young people of all colors, of both gender. There's only two. Strongly supported Bernie Sanders, because this guy was talking about not only forgiving loans, but this guy was talking about free college, everything. Very, very socialist. So Perfect is right. There is amongst younger people. Look, if you can't buy a house, you can't get a decent job, you got to do Uber, you got to do DoorDash, all of that. You're going to begin to develop a very different view of capitalism than a boomer or a Gen Xer or an older millennial. And I definitely see and witness it amongst younger people, some more willingness to embrace a different, more egalitarian based kind of system. I'm not making an argument for the veracity of such or whether we should have such, but I've definitely heard and observed it amongst younger people.
Hey, I was going to ask.
If y'all don't mind, real quick, I'm gonna only take 90 seconds.
Here, let me say something real quick about political leaders. Watch the situation up there in New York for the mayor of New York. That should be a sign right there. If that guy, I forgot his name, if he wins,
McDonough.
Yeah, McDonough. If he wins, that's going to shape up the political the political atmosphere within the Democratic Party and everything else, because that's going to be a sign that you're going to see a lot of young people, follow his lead and everything else, and other political leaders, who are just getting in, try to take his message and everything else and start spreading it out and everything else, and then they're going to run for president in 2028. I don't see Gavin Newsom winning the nominee in 2028. I don't think he's going to win it. I think it's going to be somebody else.
So this is only going to take me about 90 seconds. God damn it, Black Rule beat me to what I wanted to say. I'm gonna just say it anyway. But
why did you come say it before him?
Look. That's why I jumped on. That's why I put the 90 seconons in the back chat and everything. But right, so,
why you let him beat you? That's all.
Right, I know. Apparently, I was about to say. Apparently, Black Rule could box faster than me. Black Rule is faster than me. That's why. But no. But so to reiterate what Black Rule was saying, so it especially for the Xer brothers and some of the boomers, some of the absolute oldest of millennials, don't really appreciate how much different the market is, especially if you were able to buy a house pre-2019. You don't really appreciate, you don't have that $50,000 average new car price sitting on your shoulders. You don't have like that. Like, imagine going from a world as a millennial or as a Gen Z where houses went from 280 something, 270 something, 250 something to 450 something in the matter of 4 years in your face. You see what I'm saying? Like if you want to know why you have this lean to the left, and I would argue even on the right, if you were to really question those young men, and this is a argument I had with, or conversation I had with certain coworkers years ago, which is, the Bernie bros were not going to vote for Hillary. For those of you that know, I worked for the Democratic Party back in 2016. No, I did not vote for Hillary. And I said to one of my mentors at the time, I was like, hey, the Bernie bros are not going to vote for Hillary. I just want you to know. And it was a black woman, by the way. And it's funny because this was like one of the few times I have it on chalkboard that a black woman actually told me I was right without me pulling teeth. Right. So yeah, no. And when Hillary lost, she actually said it. She was like, Z, you were right. So number one. Number two, there is a lean to the left because I don't think people really appreciate what it means to have $100,000 student loan debt, $50,000, $75,000 student loan debt, houses being $450, new cars on average being $50,000, right? Average wedding costs some 30 some odd $1,000, right? Like that's becoming an adult. That's walking in the door of adulthood, and we pretty much taxed on to people over $500,000 just walking into the base adulthood, right? And of course the young folks are going to start tearing your institutions apart because the institutions ain't working for them. You could call them sore losers if you want. Sore losers murk people. I'll just pause right there. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna say that's the tax if you choose to pay it, but you don't have to pay any of it. That's the thing. I think there's manipulation going on because not that I even necessarily want to get off into all these other things, but when you add the food and the SNAP programs to all these other things that's being affected, and you got people kind of focusing on that, you got to understand this is all manipulation by the people that's in government that's supposed to be your representative. The people that supposedly represent you, they throw food and healthcare out there as something to manipulate how you should operate. Because at the end of the day, and we will do some follow, because there's some shows I wanted to do that I guess tomorrow going to be the perfect day to get down with some of these shows. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow, y'all. It's going to be interesting tomorrow.
Raj, can I say one more thing, if you don't mind?
And
Real quick,
we
go
are
pieces.
getting
I'm gonna drop.
close. I'm gonna say we're getting close to a close. We 2 hours and 50, basically 52 minutes. Go ahead, Mrs. Z. Say what you wanted to say. Go ahead.
I'm going to be saying this for I don't know how long I'm going to be saying this, but I'm going to be saying it for a while. 10%, the top 10% of Americans are responsible for 50% of the consumerism. That's the world you live in. That's the world your Gen Z nephews and nieces and your millennial kids live in. Appreciate that top 10% of Americans are responsible for 50% of the consumerism. Appreciate what that means and how your kids and your nephews and your nieces are going to be talking from this point forward. So when y'all hear them sounding like commies, there's a reason why I said that earlier. I was joking, but I wasn't joking. When you start hearing them sound like commies, I want you to appreciate why. And it's going to be real interesting to watch y'all say, no, do it like this anyway. Yes, that ties into this topic right here. As the government and the corporations and all these institutions show the young people like there's really no place for you unless you're in the elite. I don't know if you can hold up the whole nation with the elite. We'll see. I don't think it's going to turn out well. And even and the sons of the sons of poor ass women who are in SNAP, I want you to appreciate that. Hey, them bullets don't got no name on. Just be careful, y'all. All right, y'all. I'll pause right
Hey,
there. Thanks for having me up,
I'm
Raj.
gonna say this. I'm gonna tell you, brothers, something, man. And this goes for everybody in the clouds too. Listen, if you are in a position where you need to take care of your family, whether you have extended family or not, you yourself are your own family. If you gotta get out there and do Uber, DoorDash, work at a fast food place, you do what you need to do to take care of you and your family, man. I don't care what anybody up here on this panel says, anybody in the cloud says, you are in charge of making moves to take care of not only yourself, but your family as well. Because I hear a lot of times people will say, yeah, especially bros will say, oh, you just dashing. Yeah. Look, man, if you are taking care of yourself and you doing it legally, handle your business. And hey, look, You bringing me some DoorDash food. Hey, I appreciate you, and I'm going to tip you, man, because I know it can be a challenge, man. Keep winning. That's my position. Keep winning.
Well, I mean, I definitely agree with that. If I had a child and my child got to eat, and I gotta work a full-time job plus do some DoorDash or something else to make sure my kid can eat, I don't see the problem with that. I think people get caught up in that because women get caught up in status and looks, and then you so worried about what some woman think. You know, if you dumb enough, you won't do what you need to do because you worry about what some woman who ain't giving you none think, which don't make sense to me at the end of the day. You know, to me, the coldest outfit you can wear is a uniform.
Right.
I know guys like, I want to be fly when I go in front of the women. What's better than a uniform? This indicate I do make money.
The one you working in.
Okay, that's a real talk. To me, ain't nothing fly you can put on. You know what I'm saying? And it don't make no difference what the job is.
Right.
And I know McDonald's gets a bad rap, but it's really about fast food job, not McDonald's. They just get named a lot because they're the biggest fast food company out there. I mean, if a McDonald's job gonna help you make it, would you rather not make it or work at McDonald's? That's why I look at. I done worked at 2 fast food jobs before.
Look,
and if it got bad enough for me, I'd go there again. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. Now, hopefully, it never get that bad for me, but I would go there again. I wouldn't care what none of y'all think at the end of the day, because if that's how I get my bills paid, my bills got paid, and I work so I can live the life I want to. That's how I do it. I don't quote unquote work for a living. I work so I can do stuff.
Well, Roger, I would say this, brother. Why would we even have to put the modifier if I'm, down bad? No. I would say, you got a job, whether it's at the 99-cent store or you created something, like you said, you created something where you out picking up cans, recycling. That's what you do. You are in the position to take care of yourself. And if you have family, you are in the position to take care of your family. That's what it is. I don't give a dag. I don't view that as down bad.
Well, no. You know what? You're right, because it ain't even about being done bad. Because there's been some very smart people who use an extra job or even a fast food job to fund certain things so they wouldn't have to take loans.
Yes, sir.
So
I mean, that's the thing, man.
Yeah. The thing is, what you really want out of life is really what the thing is. What do you really want out of life? And I want to say, I think the government is using this food stuff to elicit a response from people. When I think as a people, even though I don't agree with giving all this money for food to different people out there, because I know it's unnecessary for a lot of people, and so there's a whole lot of abuse going on with it, even though I don't really agree with it, the government is still telling me. Now, it may not be me specifically in the position where my food stamps are getting cut. Okay, I don't get none, so it ain't me. But for a government to play with me like that, where they would interrupt me getting food, man, that say a whole lot of stuff about the people in charge. And I don't think Americans get that. I don't think the quote unquote, because I know some people look at it, but it's just these women and kids that's rebellious. Yeah, I don't really think they should be getting it like that anyway. But as an American person, if you would do that to them, you would also do it to me. So I think we got to have a different viewpoint about how we view politicians. And keep in mind, the only reason this stuff has come up because they like to put a bunch of stuff in the same bills, which is not necessary. They literally create a problem that no American needs to have. They can do all this stuff separated. You don't have to have a 1,000-page bill. Every bill can be 1 or 2 pages, 3, maybe 4 or 5, depending upon how much legal jargon you have to put in there. But you don't have to put bills with a bunch of different stuff in it. It's not necessary at all. But if you was looking out for the American people, you wouldn't get 1,000-page bills. So who we say, well, you got to change this. You got to change the politicians that's keeping the system the way it is, because it could stop any given day. Any random Sunday could be the day they stop doing this stuff. Go ahead, Black Aroo.
Okay. here, see,
Matter of fact, Black Cool, let me say this too. I want you to make it good because we about to hit that 3-hour mark. So you finna get the last word on this.
wow. Well, I wasn't not prepared to make a broad statement. I guess I would say
too much
though,
pressure.
the reason why the Democrats have refused to, one of the main reasons they've refused to support the big beautiful bill or whatever is because the budget includes some significant reduction in support for healthcare for poorer people, employed and not employed. If you if you have to pay your own healthcare coverage, or you work for some small business that provides you with some credits or some assistance with getting healthcare coverage, in this new budget, that is likely to go away if it's authorized for millions of people. So that's a part of the analysis of this thing. And if you're going to critique, if you're going to make some political critiques, you should speak on what the real issue is behind why this thing is installed. Because it's one thing, okay, I can't eat right now, or maybe whatever, I got to move some money around to eat. But what happens when somebody gets really sick and they ain't got no healthcare coverage? They got cancer or whatever, and they can't get that coverage because of the big beautiful bill. So just kind of keep that in mind. Do a little more reading behind this thing and a little less politicking, I would recommend. And I guess I'll end my statement there.
And he gonna end the show there, y'all. If you're new here, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. If y'all want the best this to offer in social media, it's right over here at the Roger Report Live, and that's real talk. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Chicago time. Not where you are, unless you're in Chicago. It's 9 a.m. Chicago time. Yes, even to the folks in Waukegan, it's Chicago time, not Waukegan time. And we will see y'all next time around. Appreciate everybody who came to the panel. I think it was a great show. I hope there was a lot learned here. I hope y'all, really took some stuff in. Shout out to Trill Billy. It's not 9 a.m. Joliet time. No diss to the people in Joliet, but it's 9 a.m. Chicago time. I'll see y'all next time. Long live the Habitual Line Steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out. All right, now yesterday we